I casually said I wanted to be a whole dog, watching one make its entrance. But when I woke up the next morning, I had actually turned into a dog. Not just any dog, a large breed perfectly built for whole dog work. I figured I would finally get to prove myself against wild boars, but my owner declared me a failed hybrid experiment and planned to sell me off. Right in the middle of the handoff, I seized my chance and bolted straight into a nearby cornfield. The moment I crashed through the corn, I spotted a herd of wild boars tearing up the crops. Luckily, all the big ones were tuskless sows. Hungry for a taste of meat, I decided to go for it. I charged straight at the herd. The big sows saw me coming and did not even flinch. They just lifted their heads and stared me down. Oh, so I am not worth their time? I roared at them, trying to throw them into a panic. Then one massive sow suddenly charged straight at me. That thing was enormous. Getting hit by her was going to hurt. I spun and ran. I thought I had lost her, but one look back and she was already right on my tail. I made a sharp turn, ran along the field edge, then kicked into a full sprint, barely opening any distance at all. She gave up after about 100 meters, but I was not done. The thought of fresh meat today kept me going. I turned right around and went back after her. She wheeled around and charged again. This time I was smarter. I led her through a series of turns, then deliberately slowed as we neared the edge of the terraced fields. Just as she lowered her head to ram my rear end, I leaped with a sudden burst of force. She plowed straight off the terrace. I did not stop to check on the stunned boar below. I ran straight back toward the original herd. They had not moved an inch. Was I going to let that slide? I charged in howling. 3 big sows lined up in a row facing me head on, shielding the piglets behind them. So I circled them, looking for an opening. But the piglets were sharp. They stayed tucked behind the adults the entire time, giving me absolutely nothing to work with. Then I reversed direction mid-circle and darted in close. The big sows scrambled to turn and defend, and accidentally knocked one piglet flying. I pounced instantly. I was a breath away from biting down, when one sow suddenly spun and sent the piglet sailing, then turned and charged straight at me. I panicked and fled. We crashed into the cornfield together. I pushed to full speed, barely opened a gap, then cut sharply into another row and dropped flat. The boar thundered straight ahead and disappeared into the distance. When she was gone, I went back to the herd. This time the remaining 2 sows finally knew fear. They abandoned the piglets and ran. I locked onto one piglet and followed at an easy pace. When it saw me getting closer, it turned and tried to fight back. I pinned it to the ground without hesitation, clamped my jaws onto its throat and dragged it back to my den. Looking down at the piglet between my jaws, I could not help but think, that was not easy. But a boar this size would feed me for days. That is how I unlocked my hunting ability. Time flew by, and a whole winter passed. During those months I dug dens with my claws and stashed away potatoes and sweet potatoes, and occasionally caught wild boars and rabbits to survive the cold. After surviving in the wild for so long, I had become a capable hunter. Months of regular hunting had sharpened my nose, boosted my speed, and built my endurance. I thought I could survive without humans, but my body had been growing fast, and the old collar around my neck had grown far too tight, so tight I could barely breathe. Worse, parasites had taken hold in my ears, and the itch was driving me absolutely insane. I needed a human's help. If this kept up, that collar was going to choke me to death. But I was torn, afraid of being leashed up and losing my freedom, afraid of ending up in a dog meat restaurant again. Right in the middle of my indecision, a wild boar's screaming jolted me awake. I got up fast and moved toward the sound. At least 10 dogs were all biting down on one boar. Something felt off. What was going on? Why were some of those dogs wearing what looked like clothes? Then it hit me. These were hunting dogs, used by humans. Where there were hunting dogs, there were people. Could these be humans who could actually help me? Whatever. If I die, I die. Suffering like this every single day is unbearable. I moved in toward the pack. Up close, I finally saw clearly. Those were not clothes. They were armor vests, and every single dog wore a collar fitted with an antenna. Clearly some kind of GPS tracker. I expected the armored dogs to react with hostility. Instead, they completely ignored me and stayed focused on controlling the boar. Then I spotted a man climbing the hillside, a drone humming through the night sky above. He arrived at the pack carrying a short knife and drove it into the boar's ribs with one clean strike. After draining the blood, he picked up his radio. "8, got one." A middle-aged voice came back over the radio. "Good, Ice, getting close to dawn. Drag the boar back." Ice lowered the radio with a troubled look. 3 mountain ridges. How am I supposed to drag it all the way back? He muttered to himself and scanned the terrain around him. Then he spotted me and froze. What in the world? Where did this massive dog come from? I watched him lock up with shock and felt nothing but exasperation. Fine. Time to act like a normal dog. First priority, get this collar off. I dropped to the ground in a submissive posture, wagging my tail to show I was friendly. Ice raised his radio. 8, there is an extra dog in the pack. A huge one. An extra dog? No way. Out here we lose dogs. We do not gain them. He still had not let his guard down, so I dropped even lower and crawled toward him, wagging my tail even harder. Ice looked completely baffled. "What are you doing? We just met. Why are you being this submissive?" I crawled all the way to his feet, then flopped onto my back, a little awkwardly, tucking my paws and exposing my belly. Ice had trained dogs for years. He knew exactly what this meant. He crouched down and slowly reached out to test me. I quickly pressed my own paw over my mouth. "I will not bite." Ice got it immediately. "Well, where did this dog come from? Whoever trained it did a great job. Whose dog ran off this time? Good dog, so well behaved." He burst out laughing. "Years of running dogs and we always lose them. Tonight we go up for boar and we come back with an extra one. And this one looks smart too. Finding a dog is good luck." He pulled out his knife to cut a length of rope for a leash. He reached for my collar and stopped. Oh my god, this is way too tight. Is this thing trying to kill it? Ice quickly removed the collar and looped the rope around my neck as a temporary replacement. The moment it came off, I could finally breathe. I stood up and let out one long deep breath. Ah, that is so much better. Ice rubbed my head cheerfully, then tied the rope around the boar's front legs and started dragging it back. The boar was not massive, under 200 pounds, but dragging it up the mountain alone was hard work. The other dogs bounced around him without helping, and a few greedy ones tried to steal a bite. Seeing that, I knew I had to step up. I did not want to be treated like just another hunting dog. I was willing to do the work, but I wanted a pet's life, and to earn that I needed these humans to like me. I was not exactly a pretty dog, so intelligence would have to be my selling point. With that in mind, I clamped onto the dragging rope and pulled hard alongside Ice. Ice was stunned. Hey, you know how to help with work? In 4 years running the crop protection team, they had taken down over 1,000 wild boars, and not once had a dog help drag one. He lit up more and more, patting my head. Good dog. You do not need to help. I ignored him and kept pulling. One man and one dog crossed 2 mountain ridges and finally reached the car by the road. After a long, bumpy ride, we arrived at an enclosure ringed with wire fencing. As soon as we pulled in, Ice went to feed the dogs. The others were already locked in the enclosure, but they crowded as close to the cooking area as possible, waiting for their meal. Then one brownish-red dog stood up against the fence and let out a string of awful howling. The sound was strange, not barking, not wolf-like. It sounded like a donkey. I nearly lost it laughing. When Ice walked over with the food, the dogs went wild, fighting over it. I sat to the side without moving. Ice saw this and smiled. Not in a hurry to eat, he scooped some corn mash from the pot and held it out to me, then gave my sides a firm squeeze. Not skinny at all, pure muscle. You have been doing just fine for yourself. Out of habit, I shook my head. Ice noticed something was off. He pinched my ears and looked closely, and immediately spotted a parasite, fat and round. Few moments later, Ice had it out. My second problem was finally solved. I was so relieved I decided I was not going anywhere. Out on the mountain alone, getting sick meant waiting to die. With these two, the worst case was hunting a few boars. Satisfied, I laid down on the ground and went to sleep. Ice muttered, "You really think you live here now?" The next morning I opened my eyes to find Ice crouching in front of me eating a meat bun. I sat up and swiped a stainless steel bowl over to his feet. Ice turned and called out in surprise, "Eight, this dog is asking me for food." Eight came over and crouched down. I swiped the bowl toward his feet instead. Good dog, such a good dog. Eight was not much for words, he just kept praising me. But when neither of them gave me anything, I did not grab. I just nudged the bowl until it clattered loudly, then hung my head with a look of wounded disappointment. Ice could not hold back his laughter, and hand-fed me the bun directly. I took one bite. Incredible. The other dogs saw this and wanted some too. All they knew was wagging their tails. Ice shoved them all away. The two men crouched in front of me and started talking it over. The more we talk about it, the better it gets. This dog is genuinely smart, and the original owner trained it well. I think it has been on the mountain 3 or 4 months. Otherwise the collar would not have gotten that tight. Really? What was it eating out there? 8. Feel how tight these muscles are. Yeah, lean and dense, no nutritional deficiency. It must have been hunting up there. Just then I finished Ice's bun and turned to stare directly at 8. 8 had a stone face, not even a hint of a smile. Fine, time to be cute. These were his buns I wanted. I sat up straight, lifted my front paws off the ground and pressed them together, and bowed to 8 in thanks. It says thank you? 8 lit up and gave me 2 buns. I said with a grin, "This dog has parasites. I am taking it to get vaccinated and dewormed." Just like that, the two of them left the kennel behind, a few dogs still wandering loose outside. After a bath, they gave me a rabies shot and deworming medicine. Once my coat was blow-dried, I looked so good even I was impressed. And Ice and 8 went straight into a photo session, posting every shot to their social media to show off. Ha! Check out your boy's luck. Picked up a dog on the mountain last night. No way, that dog is way too big. Looks like over 100 pounds. It will never keep up on the mountain. Right, it is mixed breed, it cannot hunt. It is just a dog that eats. That set 8 off. He had been watching quietly, but now he had had enough. If you do not know what you are talking about, stay quiet. You think a pet dog ran up into those mountains on its own? A dog that grew to this size out there on its own, how could it not know how to hunt? Sure, it would make a fine pet, but a dog this big will eat you out of house and home. Just watch, if my dog makes it up the mountain and takes down a boar, what do you owe me? If it catches a boar, I will give you my gray wolf. And if it does not, you pick any dog from my kennel. Done, I will witness it. Ice put down his phone, irritated. These guys have absolutely no clue. Then he crouched in front of me. You are not going to make me lose, are you? I nodded. Ha, is that a yes or a no? I just kept nodding. 8 shook his head. You actually believe it understands you. It is just reading your expression. Back at the kennel, Ice led me into the enclosure and pointed to an open kennel unit for me to go in. I had no interest in staying in there. I pulled the leash straight toward the gate. Ice could not stop me. Where exactly do you think you are going? I led him to the front door of the house. I lifted a paw, hooked the door handle, gave it another bat, and walked straight inside. Ice's eyes went wide. It is a proper pet. It can open doors. Just like that, I earned the right to come indoors. But when I looked back, I noticed a phone stand set up in front of Ice. He was live streaming, so he was a content creator. Instead of jumping on the bed, I sat right at his feet, sat up straight and peered at the screen. Suddenly a massive dog head filled the live stream frame. What? Where did that dog come from? How is it so big? Ha! Ice burst out laughing. Let me tell you about this dog. It is something else. I am telling you, this dog is incredibly smart and super friendly. I did not catch it. It followed me home on its own, and last night it even helped me drag a boar. Someone in the chat fired back. Do I look like an idiot to you? Why would I lie? I really did just find it. This dog is unbelievably smart. Give it a command, it executes. Watch. With that, Ice stood up, pointed the camera at me and started giving commands. No matter what he said, I executed it without hesitation. After the little show, Ice turned to the chat. Hey, this dog does not have a name yet. Me and Nate are no good with names. Anyone have a good suggestion? Call it Lucky. Ice's eyes lit up. Lucky, that is a great name. He turned to me. Your name is Lucky now, what do you think? I thought it over for a moment, nodded and gave a short response. Look at Lucky thinking it over. That expression is hilarious. A girl in the chat was so charmed by my puzzled look that she immediately sent a sports car gift. Lucky, quick. Thank Chi. I sat up instantly, lifted my front paws, pressed them together, and bowed. The girl on the other end of the screen laughed even harder, and sent another sports car. Ice called out, noted. Lucky gets an extra chicken leg tonight. Hearing there was a chicken leg in it for me, I was thrilled. I settled right next to Ice and watched the chat scroll by. Every time Ice thanked a gift, without any command, I sat up on my own and bowed. Everyone was having a great time. When the stream ended, Ice was more than satisfied. Lucky, that is your name now. You did great tonight. True to his word, he went to the freezer and pulled out a whole chicken and handed it over. I caught it in one bite. Wagged my tail in satisfaction. Not a bad night's work. The moment I stepped outside with the chicken, several dogs crowded around me. I did not even acknowledge them. These were all smaller than me. None of them stood a chance. Then a blue-gray dog jumped out of the enclosure. Just as I was about to set the chicken down and fight, it turned out to be too timid to even come near me. It just stood off to the side, watching with envy. That was how I spent my first day at my new home. Early the next morning, while I was outside relieving myself, I saw 8 take a phone call. Then call out to Ice. Ice, feed them light at noon. We head up tonight. Ice called back with a note of uncertainty. Should we bring Lucky? I talked a big game in the group chat, but I have not actually seen it take down a boar yet. I am worried it might bolt on me. But 8 had more faith. Bring it. That dog is sharp. If it can hunt boar, it will be incredible. We do not have armor for it though. Then it runs support. After a quick discussion, they fed the dogs and went back to sleep, getting ready for the night ahead. That evening, Ice and 8 got up and started getting their gear together. Come here, Lucky, put this on, do not lose it. Ice fitted me with a GPS tracking collar, then grabbed a pile of armor vests and collars and headed into the kennel. The moment the dogs realized they were heading up the mountain, they went wild, bouncing and swarming around the 2 men. Ice turned to 8. How many hold dogs do we bring? I had figured out that the armored dogs were called hold dogs. Most of them pit bulls or pit bull mixes. They were the front line, built to absorb the boar's attacks, and their armor vests showed, dented and stained with blood. A big tusker's fangs were nothing to take lightly. Since this was my first hunt with the team, I decided to watch and learn how they operated. From their conversation I picked out a few names: Tank, with his yellow coat and coiled legs, and Titan, with his red coat and white-tipped paws. If I had hands, I would have gone over to pet them right then. While the gear was being fitted, I jumped into the enclosure. The dogs circled me curiously, but their attitude was pure curiosity. No hostility, no warmth, just sizing me up. I walked over to Fuzz and looked him over carefully. He looked the most like a husky, but how could a husky be a hunting dog? Those things were sled dogs. Just then, Ice and 8 started loading the dogs into the vehicle. Including me, 14 dogs went out that night. 4 of them wore armor vests. Not wanting to squeeze into the truck bed, I used my mouth to open the car door and climbed into the back seat myself. The drive took over an hour. 8 pulled out the drone and got it ready to launch. Ice opened up his live stream. We are out on crop protection duty tonight, just arrived, drone is not up yet, and Lucky is with us tonight. Who said it could not hunt? Seconds later, the drone feed went live in the stream. The drone had thermal imaging, so a single sweep could cover hundreds of meters in every direction. It took off with the village as its center point and swept southwest, following the leads the villagers had provided. The drone had barely been up 5 minutes when 8 shouted, Ice, we've got targets. 3 boars in the woods below, just over 500 meters out. Ice and 8 jumped out and I stepped out from the passenger side. Ice gripped his knife, clicked on his radio and moved toward the boars. 8 opened up the truck bed. A dozen dogs poured out in a rush, instantly locked onto Ice's direction and ran to him. Every dog was completely silent, except Ruckus, the donkey-voiced troublemaker, who hit the ground screaming. If the boars had not heard us before, they definitely heard that. Sure enough, the distant boars spooked and bolted. Grizzly and Dash were both native breeds, the first to catch the scent, and they launched without a sound. The rest of the pack saw them go, and surged after them. Ruckus and Panther, both hold dogs, were far slower and immediately fell behind. But I did not charge out with the rest. I looked up at Ice. He happened to look down at the same moment. Go! The word barely left his mouth before I was already gone. My build was large, but I carried Manhwa genes, explosive acceleration, and within seconds I had passed every hold dog. The lead dog out front was Dash, sighthound genes, pure speed. There was no catching him, but I could keep up with Grizzly. And since no one had eyes on the boar yet, the pack was still holding back, not at full speed. So Grizzly ran second, I ran third, and we closed in fast. The boars spotted us and kicked into a full sprint, and all 3 split off in different directions. Since I and the 2 lead dogs were fastest, we pulled away from the rest of the pack. The 3 of us locked onto one boar, while Flurry led the other lead dogs in a different direction. They had not kept up, and turned to chase a separate boar. Most of the hold dogs ended up following Flurry's group. On the other side, Ice called into his radio, 8, keep the camera on Lucky. Catching boars tonight is not the point. I want to see what Lucky can do. On it. Lucky is huge. Shows up clear as day on thermal. 8 had a clear view of me right on Dash's tail. Dash was flying now, and when he finally pulled up right behind a boar, The boar, which had been weaving through the dense trees, suddenly slammed to a stop and spun to attack. Dash cut sideways with lightning reflexes and dodged the charge, and in an instant the boar was chasing him instead. That is when Grizzly exploded forward, and the boar spun again to charge at Grizzly. Grizzly drew the boar a few meters away. Then Dash came back around and cut off its retreat. The boar was caught between them, trapped, and froze in place. I did not join the attack right away. This boar was not big, just over 100 pounds. I could handle it alone. I just watched their teamwork with genuine fascination. The way they kept the boar switching between targets, never able to focus on either one. After a moment I circled quietly around to the boar's rear. Wild boars were strong, hard to finish off with a bite alone. My usual method was to run them until they were foaming before going in for the kill, but this time was different. I just had to hold it. The two-legged one was on his way. I burst forward from behind without warning. The boar bolted. Dash and Grizzly gave immediate chase, and I pushed to top speed, rapidly closing the gap, then opened my jaws and clamped down hard. 8 watching from the drone muttered, "Easy now, wait for the hold dogs before you bite down." He figured I would lose my grip and they would be chasing it all over again, but I was not letting go. Every hunting instinct I had said the same thing: once you bite, you do not release. With my jaws locked on its hind leg, I wrenched hard to the side, and the boar lost its balance and crashed to the ground. Dash and Grizzly hit it from both sides. Dash clamped onto the boar's ear, Grizzly locked onto a front leg. The boar thrashed with everything it had, but I was not budging. The moment Dash and Grizzly had it pinned, I shot to the front and clamped down on the boar's snout. 8 exploded over the radio. "Ice, it is locked down. Lucky is unbelievable lead dog speed doing the work of a hold dog." Ice was overjoyed. He read Lucky's GPS position and sprinted toward me. "Ha, I can see it. Lucky is incredible. It switched to the nose on its own. That boar is not going anywhere." 2.5 minutes later, Ice arrived, pulled his knife and drove it in clean. The boar thrashed and screamed. In under a minute the fight went out of it. Ice grabbed his radio. "Can we link up with the other group? Pull the dogs. Scout is still tracking." I listened hard. There was barking in the distance calling the pack. I launched instantly and charged toward the sound. The third boar had been driven far out, so I opened up full speed. My size gave me power and momentum. I burst out of the dense forest first, and ran hard in the direction of the drone. Dash and I arrived together, and found the boar backed up against the edge of a terrace, a pure black dog barking furiously at it from the front. This boar was big, well over 200 pounds, so I did not rush in recklessly. More dogs arrived one by one and surrounded it, barking to wear it down. Having already proven my worth on the first boar, I was in no hurry this time. I stepped back and watched how the team worked. Just then a smaller dog, reckless by nature, darted in and tried to bite and hold. The boar tossed it into the air with one flick of its head, then burst through the circle and bolted. With this many dogs on it, there was no getting away. Less than 20 meters out, a dog hit it from behind. The boar spun to fight back, only to get grabbed again from another angle. The dog that had been tossed earlier was already back on its feet, but I could see a small gash along its ribcage. This boar had tusks. The standoff dragged on for 2.5 minutes, until the hold dogs finally arrived. The first one in was Ruckus, the very dog who had tipped off the boar earlier. This one did not stop to size up the boar. The instant he arrived, without any hesitation, he drove straight in and locked onto the boar's ear. His attack worked like a signal. The moment Ruckus bit down, every single dog surrounding the boar piled on simultaneously, biting from every angle. But the instant Ruckus locked onto the ear, the boar wrenched its head and slammed into him. Ruckus went flying, but even as his front legs left the ground, he never let go. He held that ear like a vice. I let out a breath. Thank goodness the hold dogs wore armor, because that hit would have done a lot more than open a small gash. After that, the boar had no chance of breaking free. The rest of the dogs surged in, ears locked, legs locked. Watching all of this, I finally understood how this team operated. First, the lead dogs, sharp noses, tracked and located the boar. Then, once found, they intercepted and contained it. Next, the support dogs arrived, and worked alongside the lead dogs to keep the boar pinned, cutting off any escape. Finally, the hold dogs moved in and took over. Once a hold dog bit down, the whole pack piled on. In fact, with a clean bite and hold, just a few dogs were enough to lock down a boar completely. While I was thinking this over, the rest of the hold dogs came charging in. The boar had nowhere to go now. It let out a shriek that could wake the whole mountain. Even though Ruckus had basically announced our arrival to the boars the moment he hit the ground. When it was time to work, he was absolutely ferocious. I had real respect for this crew. The lead dogs were clever, the hold dogs were fearless. Watching the lead dogs circle the boar, pulling it back and forth, toying with it, I found it genuinely thrilling. I was starting to love this game. Then I charged in myself and clamped down on the boar's snout. Ice came running up and finished the boar with one strike. 3 boars. Not one got away. Ice was overjoyed, running his hands over the dogs and waving up at the drone. "Good dogs, that was a beautiful hunt." Then he rubbed my head. "Well done, Lucky. That name suits you perfectly. You are a true treasure." 8 chimed in happily. "This dog is something else. Runs as fast as Grizzly, can hold a boar down. Locked up the very first one solo. We really found a gem." But I did not feel the joy they expected. As a human, I had been a failure. Busy my whole life, hitting middle age with nothing to show for it. And yet here, as a dog, I was being praised like this. The moment we got back, Ice handed me a whole chicken and a bowl of food. "You earned a special meal tonight." I ate my fill and slept on the concrete steps outside. I was covered in mud and blood. No need to bring that indoors. I did not expect to be woken up at the crack of dawn. I jumped into the enclosure to find out who was making the noise. A black dog that had not gone up the mountain last night was barking for no reason at all. but the moment I walked toward it, before I'd even done anything, it dropped its head and tucked its tail. It went quiet. I turned and walked away. The moment I was about to jump out, it started barking again. I spun around and charged. Not this time. Backing down will not save you now. It saw me coming and cowered flat against the ground. I grabbed it by the throat. It yelped and kicked frantically. Not wanting to wake Ice and ate, I dragged it by the throat into one of the doghouses. I was not going to kill it, just teach it a lesson. I held on until it was shaking all over and wet itself, then I let go. I came out of the doghouse wide awake, wandered through the kennel, and checked out each enclosure one by one. As I went around, I realized I had a thing for good-looking dogs. My favorites were Fuzz, Flurry, and Blizzard, all strikingly handsome. Ruckus, on the other hand, was not much to look at, but he had this goofy, lovable energy. He looked clueless, blundered around on hunts, and was endlessly entertaining. Looking at these brave, fierce dogs in front of me, I made a quiet promise: just wait. Once I blow up online, I will make sure you all eat well. On the other side of the yard, Ice woke up. The first thing he did was clip the footage of me taking down the boar last night, and sent it to the hunting dog group chat. Come on everyone, take a look. Who said my Lucky could not hunt? Has anyone ever seen a dog this fierce? Whole dog build, lead dog speed, lock down 100-pound boar solo. Ice sent voice message after voice message, looking absolutely thrilled with himself. Some people in the group had already caught the live stream and had been talking about it, all shocked that a dog my size could run that fast, and actually bite down once it caught the boar. Even the guy who had made the bet with Ice accepted his loss and offered to hand over his best dog as agreed. Ice waved it off generously. Come on, we are all friends here. How could I take something you treasure like that? I was just talking. You are a good man. Dinner is on me next time. Another group member went even further. Ice, name your price. Sell me Lucky. Hunting boars with you. One day a big tusker is going to take it out, and that would be such a waste. Let it live like royalty at my place. You think I just sit this one out? Stop talking nonsense. Lucky is smarter than I am. You think a big tusker is going to take it down? Not selling, not for any price, not for $1 million. I looked up at Ice. Is that real? Not for $1 million? Am I really worth that much? Ice wrapped up the group chat and started his live stream. I took my usual spot next to him. Hey everyone, we locked down 3 boars last night. Take a look. This is our Lucky. Found on the mountain and ready to work from day 1. Ice stroked my coat and just kept the praise coming. Thank you, Chi, for the hot air balloon gift. Already got Lucky that extra chicken leg. Lucky gets a whole chicken. The only dog in this kennel with that kind of treatment. I knew Chi. She had sent several sports car gifts last time and specifically requested the chicken leg for me. She deserved a proper thank you. I stuck out my tongue and did my best to smile, bowing with both front paws again and again. Just then someone requested to speak on the stream, clearly a top supporter, with a very high account level. Ice accepted it, curious. Lee, what is up? Ice, is Lucky for sale? I will put up 100,000. What are you saying, Lee? Any dog in my kennel you want it is yours. No need to buy anything. Lucky though, I have not had nearly enough time with it yet. I cannot let it go right now. If you really want to see it, come spend a few days. Let me check my schedule and we will make it happen. One piece of advice: Lucky is this smart, right? Teach it a few more tricks, film it, post it to the platform. It will blow up. My ears perked up at that. No wonder Lee was the top supporter. The man had vision. But Ice scratched his head. I am not really a video person, Lee explained patiently. Just treat it like posting to your social media. You send videos to the group all the time anyway. Going viral takes time. You need to build up a body of work first. Alright, I am listening to Lee on this one. Lucky knows how to put on a show. Let me give everyone a taste. Ice turned the camera on me, but the commands he gave were way too easy, so I decided to add my own difficulty. I rose up on my hind legs, spun a full circle in place, then went into a handstand on my front legs, and finished by walking on just my 2 front legs. The chat went completely silent for a second, then exploded. This dog is unreal. It has got a whole routine. A wave of gifts poured in, but right as I was bowing to thank the smaller gifts, Ice suddenly shouted, "Thank you, Lee, for the mega plane!" The moment I heard mega plane, I stopped mid-bow, dropped my front legs, raised my rear end, and slammed my forehead to the ground. Ice completely lost it. This dog can bow its head to the floor? Who on earth taught it that? Lee was stunned. I send a mega plane and it gives me a full forehead bow. Now I feel embarrassed. I have to send another one. As Ice called out his thanks, I dropped my forehead to the ground again. Lee said what everyone in the chat was thinking. I am genuinely jealous. How does someone just find a dog like this? But Ice, stop just laughing. You are doing this wrong. You cannot have the dog perform and not give it a reward. That is not how it works. Every trainer gives a reward after every trick. Lucky is smart, but if you never reward it, that is not right. Hearing that, I genuinely wanted to bow my head to the ground again for Lee. That was exactly right. Lee actually understood dogs. I let out 2 sharp barks at Ice to make my agreement very clear. Lee kept going. Seriously, Ice, take good care of Lucky. If you do this right, Lucky can take you viral. And once you blow up online, money stops being a problem. Understood, Lee. Starting tomorrow, whatever I eat, Lucky eats. That is not enough. The things you would not even treat yourself to, those go to Lucky first. I have to rank below my own dog? They chatted a little longer, then the stream ended. The moment it ended, the 2 of them sat down to eat, while I stood off to the side watching. I spit into a spare rib and tossed the bone on the ground. I stared at it. Seriously, a bone, just the bone, on the floor? Absolutely not. I opened my mouth to say something, and out came a low, grumbling bark. 8 watched me with a grin. Alright, no bones for Lucky. He divided his own food in half and set it in front of me, vegetables and steamed buns. Now that was acceptable. I bowed to 8 in thanks, and shot Ice a sideways glare. Ice looked genuinely wounded. Lucky is glaring at me? 8 put on a serious face. Alright, let us talk business. We head up again tonight, same area as last night. The villagers say there were more than 3 boars, at least a dozen. We go back tonight and finish the job. That evening the two of them started gearing up the dogs. When Ice fitted my GPS collar he turned to 8. What do you think, should we order a set of armor for Lucky? Let us go ahead and order. 1. Lucky is willing to bite and hold. Armor will keep it safer. With that size and build, lead dog is a stretch. Hold dog is the better fit. The lineup tonight was about the same as the night before. Once my tracker was on, I took my usual spot in the back seat. Before long the car pulled up to the same spot. The drone went up and began searching, but the drone battery was nearly dead and still nothing had been found. 8 drove them to a new position. Then the drone finally picked up several glowing heat signatures. At least 400 meters out, with a mountain ravine cutting across the middle, 8 called out to Ice quickly. We got targets, but it is all open terrain out there, rough going. Ice stared at the drone feed and set his jaw. We go, we have to. Here is the plan, I move out first. Once I clear this ridge you release the dogs, that way they do not get too far ahead of me. 8 agreed. Ice climbed out with his knife and radio, but I thought, why make it complicated? I will just go ahead and hold the boars until he gets there. So the instant Ice stepped out, I hit the ground running and vanished into the darkness in seconds. Ice turned and called out, unable to stop me. Quick, get eyes on Lucky! 8 swung the drone around, just in time to catch me cresting a ridge, then launching off the edge of a cliff, and bounding up a steep slope taller than a man, without breaking stride. 8 stared at the screen in disbelief. What, this dog knows Kung Fu? He turned to Ice. Lucky is heading straight for the boars, moving fast, keep pushing forward. If Lucky can hold them, I release the dogs. If it cannot, pull it back. Ice agreed and pushed ahead in my direction. Meanwhile, I followed my nose, locking onto the boar's exact location, and closed in fast. But when I got within 100 meters, I slowed down and moved in carefully. Ice and 8 both reacted immediately watching this. Incredible, Lucky is a real hunter. Everyone see that? Lucky slowed down as it got close. That is so it does not spook them. Stalking like that is a wild animal's instinct. None of our dogs know how to do that. I had no idea I was shocking everyone. I was just following the scent. But when I got close, I found an entire group of boars, and not one of them was standing watch. Every single one was asleep. As I crept closer, I looped around behind them trying to drive them back toward Ice. When I was only about 10 meters away, they finally woke up. 6 or 7 boars scrambled to their feet and bolted. I launched after them from behind, but I did not close the gap right away. I matched their pace exactly. 8 watched the drone feed with his mouth open. I cannot believe this. Lucky is herding them back toward us. The livestream chat exploded with shock. I drove them right to the cliff edge I had passed on the way in. I cut loose with a burst of barking to frighten them, then charged hard trying to push them over the edge, but they were not stupid. No animal jumps off a cliff unless it has absolutely no other choice. The herd split and scattered to both sides. I pushed to full speed and chased for dozens of meters, closing right in on the rear of the herd. Then the biggest boar suddenly spun and charged straight at me. I had seen every move these animals had. The reverse charge was their most predictable trick. I hit a hard stop and cut sideways, and just like that it was chasing me. I led it on for a few dozen meters, until it suddenly stopped, but when I turned back, I did not face it head on. I circled around behind it. No animal willingly exposes its back to a threat. It saw what I was doing and charged at me again. This time I kept cutting left and right, pulling it through turn after turn. 8 forgot to release the dogs entirely. He just stared at the drone screen, completely absorbed, wanting to see how far this would go. Ice was speechless. I do not even know what to say. Lucky is unbelievable. Put it in the public chat. It is playing with this boar like it is nothing. The public chat filled instantly with Lucky is unbelievable. Even one of the top supporters sent a mega head gift right then. Meanwhile, the boar chasing me was over 200 pounds, and it was starting to run out of steam. Once the energy dropped, so did the courage. It turned and fled, but it was tired. I was just getting warmed up. You are really running away already? I went after it again at an easy pace. This time it had no fight left. It just ran. I cut it off from every angle trying to drive it over the edge, but it refused to go over. Time to apply some real pressure. I launched into the air and clamped my jaws onto its ear. On the other side of the terrain, Ice had just cleared the cliff. Seeing the livestream display, he shouts right away. Lucky latched on. 8. Release the dogs, now. 8 doesn't hesitate for a second and releases the dogs. The dogs had already caught the scent back in the vehicle, and had been practically crawling out of their skin with excitement, so they all scramble out of the car at once. The lead dogs bolt straight into the dark. Meanwhile, after I latch on, the boar suddenly jerks its head and lunges at me with its jaws, but I already saw it coming. Knew you'd try that! The next second I snap in a different direction, and clamp down hard on its big ear. Stung by pain, the boar bolts again, and I don't hold on this time, because today I've made it my mission. I'm not stopping until I drive it off that cliff. What I didn't expect was that this time the boar panics completely, and when I close in again it throws itself off the cliff without a second thought. I peer over the edge, and when it struggles back to its feet, one of its front legs is broken. Now we're talking. Satisfied, I find a gentle slope and make my way down. No way, Lucky actually chased that pig right off a cliff. Did you all catch that? Lucky's plan from the very start was to drive the boar off the cliff and kill it on impact. He just didn't count on the drop being too short to finish the job. 8 has lost count of how many times he said no way. The livestream chat is going absolutely wild. It's unbelievable. A dog not only thinking tactically but using the terrain to his advantage. By the time I make my way down, the boar is already sitting motionless on the ground. Just then, Ice comes running over. Turns out Ice is absolutely fearless. He pulls out his blade on the spot and moves in to bleed it out, but I'm worried the boar might lash out in its final moments and hurt him, so I rush in and clamp onto one of the boar's ears. The sharp blade drives into the boar's side, and after a few desperate twitches, it goes still. Ice grabs my head with both hands. "My treasure, how are you this incredible?" I lift my chin with a touch of pride. That's just the basics. You though, make sure you get good footage of me, because today's whole performance was all about pulling in fans and gifts from the livestream bros. Before long the rest of the dogs pile in. The boar is already down, but they pile on anyway, tearing into it. "It's down, boys! You all saw Lucky's performance, right?" "Nothing to say except Lucky is a beast. Let me check how far the other boars got." 8 barely finishes talking when another boar that scattered earlier comes into view. The drone puts it at just over 200 meters out, worth a shot. 8 gets on the radio. "Ice, there's another boar, just over 200 meters out." By now the lead dogs have already caught the scent. The next second, Dash leads the charge, and a dozen dogs surge forward behind him, spreading into a line. I join in and run alongside the lead dogs, but this boar is sharp. It's already running before we even get close. Still, boars are slow on the uphill, and I'm right on its heels in no time. Suddenly the boar wheels around and lunges at me, but I spin away and sprint off. Behind me, one lead dog and one support runner both dodge out of the way just in time. Further back comes an armored hold dog, Lala. Normally Lala is the quietest, most obedient dog around, but facing a wild boar, she doesn't back down for a single second. In a flash, she clamps onto one ear. The boar lets out a screech and wrenches its head violently, sending Lala flying, but she refuses to let go. Right at that moment, Swift Scout Axe launches a diving bite and locks onto the boar's front leg. Swift Scouts won't take on a boar alone, but the moment and Hold Dog latches on, they're right behind them. Hold Dog Hothead charges in too and locks onto the other ear. In an instant I clamp onto a hind leg. I haul back with everything I've got. One leg lifts off the ground, and the boar's resistance drops sharply. Then the whole pack swarms in. The young boar is completely surrounded with nowhere to turn. When Ice arrives, he can't even find a spot to get his blade in, let alone 600, who's desperate for a bite but can't find an opening. Ice shakes his head. At this rate there won't be any boars left to hunt. Meanwhile, 8 pulls the drone, cuts the live stream and hustles over to haul the carcass. They get back late, so 8 heads straight out to deal with the boar. By the time he's back, Ice has already finished feeding the dogs. 8 gets out with breakfast in hand, and without a moment's hesitation I grab my food bowl in my teeth and fall right in a step behind him. 8 just laughs it off. "Go ahead, dig in. I had the owner make a few low-salt pork buns just for you." 8, now you're speaking my language. I give a satisfied nod. But while Ice eats, his phone won't stop buzzing. Their hunting group chat has completely exploded. Someone had clipped the live stream footage of me driving the boar off the cliff and posted it to the group. Since everyone in the group is a serious hunting dog handler, they all know exactly what they're seeing, and the discussion is on fire, because everything I pulled off back there showed off both sharp intelligence and elite hunting skill. This isn't a dog, this thing is as smart as a person. I'll admit it, our hunting dogs don't match wild animals in raw hunting instinct, but Lucky is smarter than any wild animal I've seen. I bow down to him. Ice, seriously, with your track record, how did you ever get this lucky? Ice swallows a bite of his bun, then fires back with full energy. Who else has a dog like this? Top tier swift lead and hold dog in one, and he can take down a 250-pound boar solo. You think bad luck gets you a dog this good? Lucky came home with me because he saw we were good people. I'm not exaggerating. Lucky is the best hunting dog in the entire country. Anyone who disagrees, come prove me wrong. I wouldn't trade this dog for a block of gold. I give a nod. Glad you understand what you've got. Before long, Ice is barely keeping his eyes open. He pats my head. Whatever it is, it can wait until I wake up. I'm tired too. I eat an apple and go to sleep, but Ice has barely fallen asleep when someone rings him on a video call. Ice answers with zero patience. "What? I'm sleeping." "So what? You'll have plenty of time to sleep when you're dead. You'll be rotting in the ground before I even think about dying." They trade insults back and forth for a bit, until Ice runs out of patience. "Get to the point. Let me borrow Lucky for a couple of days." "Borrow Lucky? Not a chance. I'd sooner lend out my wife." "Your wife? You'd better hope she doesn't hear you say that. How does someone with your luck find a dog this good? If he were mine, I'd build him a shrine. Every morning I'd bow to him first thing, and at night I'd shove my wife aside just to sleep holding him." "No problem, Lucky's right here. If you want to bow, you can bow right through the screen." I climb up onto Ice's bed to see who's laying it on this thick. Uncle Lee spots me on screen and nearly loses it. "Lucky, come spend a couple of days with Uncle Lee." With sweet talk like that I have to play along. I stick out my tongue, soften my expression, and give him my best smile. Uncle Lee bursts out laughing. Good boy, Uncle Lee's coming to see you soon." Then he turns serious. "Ice, you need to take good care of this dog. You're careless. I'm worried you'll lose him or mess him up somehow. Please, I'm begging you, take good care of him." Ice straightens up. "Alright, I hear you. I'll take good care of him, I promise." After the call ends, Ice sees me walking around with half a sausage in my mouth, and snatches it away. "No more of that stuff. It's not healthy. We'll buy real meat and make proper sausages ourselves." But when I realize I'm actually getting an upgrade to pure meat sausages, I grab one last sausage and head straight to the kennel. Time to share the wealth with my favorite dogs. Ice quietly pulls 8 aside. "Is this seriously still a dog? Has he turned into some kind of spirit? How can he bring himself to give away his own food? And he even knows to toss the wrapper. This is unreal. Since when do dogs entertain other dogs?" 8 scrambles to pull out his phone and start recording. They haven't even finished editing yesterday's footage, and now there's already more. It takes them a good while before they get one video posted. The first one they put out is the hunting clip. I watch from the side for a bit. Honestly, 8's editing on the main channel is pretty rough. It's messy, not very gripping, and the raw energy of the hunt just doesn't come through at all. The clips focused on me are at least coherent, but the music choices are terrible. These guys clearly need a professional editor. It doesn't take long before fans start finding the content. Some fans still have no idea I've joined the team, but after watching my moves they're stunned, guessing it must be Dash or Grizzly. Ice drops a comment to clear things up, then posts a photo of me. The shot is perfectly composed, sharp and clear, my two big ears standing tall on my head, as though I'd posed for a passport photo. The comments explode almost instantly. No way! He actually knows how to stalk prey. Pigs aren't dumb, they're actually among the smarter animals out there. But Lucky just stomped all over that. Incredible, what a watch. A single dog taking down a 250-pound boar. Ice, did my dog somehow end up at your place? And just like that, Ice spends the whole night on his phone chatting in the group, having the time of his life. Most of it is him bragging about me, nearly setting off a riot in the group chat. But given that he takes such good care of me, whenever Ice needs to show me off I cooperate. The next morning, a light rain starts to fall outside. Even if it only lasts a couple of hours, heading up the mountain tonight is out. Just then Ice takes a call. Some friends are on their way. He goes to find 8. 8, Captain Wang says he's coming over today, wants to hang around for a couple of days and hunt with us. Alright then, let's get the portable pens out and clear some space. I'll make some calls and find a good spot for 2 teams to work together. Before long, 2 vehicles pull up outside, one of them packed full of dogs. Ice greets them with a warm smile. 8 manages something close to a smile. Captain Wang is a heavy-set guy. One look tells you he's not built for drone work. His role is calling the shots from a distance. The moment he's out of the car, he's scanning the yard for me. Ice, where's Lucky? Show me. Ice calls for me, but I stay put on the concrete steps. The ground is soaked from the rain, and if I can keep my paws clean I will. Ice sees me holding my ground and quickly explains, Lucky is very well behaved. He just doesn't like going out in the rain. Captain Wang waves it off. Plenty of dogs are neat freaks, that's completely normal. Then he walks straight over to me. What a big dog, must be over 100 pounds. He reaches out to pet me. I tilt my head to dodge his hand. You come empty-handed? Really? I cut him a sideways glance. Captain Wang doesn't read the hint at all and pets me anyway, asking as he goes, Ice, you really just found him? You didn't buy him? Would I lie to you? You're a hunting dog handler. Do you think I could train a pet dog to do what he does? Captain Wang nods. Fair point. He then lets all his dogs out. The 2 groups sniff and size each other up from either side of the fence. Meanwhile, I'm surrounded by a crowd of people, but they come empty-handed, just gawking and pawing at me, this one kneading my head, that one tugging at my skin, and one guy even peels back my cheek to inspect my teeth. I've had enough. I push through the crowd, open the door myself, go inside and shut it behind me. The whole group bursts out laughing. He's had it with us. Right after, 8 pulls Captain Wang aside to help with video editing. In the beginning, 8 and Ice knew nothing about content creation. It was Captain Wang who taught them. With Captain Wang's help, they get a video sorted out quickly, and 8 posts it while it's fresh. After some rest, they eat dinner as evening falls and start loading the dogs. I'm non-negotiable, but with Captain Wang's team along, they can leave a few of their own dogs behind. Captain Wang is sure to bring his best, so this side picks its top performers too. Only D2 and the young pup have limited field time. A team this sharp deserves a real challenge. 8 goes through the intel on hand and picks the area with the heaviest boar activity. 8 drives out front leading the way, 2 more vehicles trailing behind. Ice glances back at me sprawled across the rear seat. You've taken over the whole back seat. I used to be the one lying back there. I give him a flat look. Be glad I'm not sitting on you. Before long, the vehicles stop near a village and the 2 teams huddle up. 8 lays it out. This is the village. The boars have been wrecking everything here. Ice and I tried once before and came up empty. These boars are sharp. You take the left side of the road, I'll take the right. 2 drones take off back to back, one banking left, the other right, doubling the search coverage. Less than 5 minutes in, they spot a boar. No good. It's too close to the village. Use the drone to push it, see where it runs and go from there. They can't release the dogs. This close to the village. If the boar gets chased back in, people could get hurt and property could get destroyed. It's nighttime but the village isn't completely quiet. Since boars bolt at the hum of a drone, 8 uses that to herd it away. But the boar stops after about 300 meters and refuses to move further. 8 pulls the drone up high and starts mapping a release route. Ice mutters, these boars are crafty, this isn't going to be easy. Still have to try, if we leave them they'll be right on the village's doorstep. Hunting boars and live streaming are both secondary for the crop protection team. Their real job is protecting farmland. So even if they can't catch the boar, they have to drive it as far away as possible. Ice speaks up with a plan. What if we send Lucky out first to hold one boar in place, then release the rest once he's in position? That way if the boars scatter, Lucky alone is easy enough to call back. 8 nods in agreement, then turns to Captain Wang. Captain, the distance is too long, the boars might bolt. Let's send Lucky first to hold them, then release the rest, same as the clip you saw. Captain Wang has been looking forward to seeing me in action, so he doesn't even hesitate. Let's do it! Ice quickly opens the door and lets me out. I've had the scent for a while now, and I've been listening to every word of their conversation. The moment I hit the ground, I lock onto the direction and go. There are guests watching today, no room to look bad. Ice starts the live stream right after, chatting with the audience while keeping his eyes on me. Watch Lucky work, everyone. Think he can hold that boar on his own? Just then, 8 shouts with excitement. Here we go! He's changing course. He's flanking again, just like last time, herding the boar back toward us. On my end, I'm making an even wider loop tonight. The boar has already been spooked once tonight, so I have to be more careful. I circle all the way around and climb the hill directly behind the boar. But in the livestream everyone watching sees me move and starts shouting, "The dog's running away," completely missing the point. 8 sets them straight. Running? Lucky is flanking to drive the boar back to us. He's too smart. Captain Wang watches the drone feed and can barely contain his envy. Top-tier lead dog doesn't even cover it. And sure enough, the boars haven't spotted me and they've settled down. I round the peak and climb up from the far side of the slope. By now even the most clueless viewers in the livestream have figured out what I'm doing. And those who know the craft understand just how rare this is. 8 starts buzzing with excitement. "Captain Wang, get ready to release." At the same time I crest the hilltop, lock onto the boar's exact position by scent, and the next second I charge straight down the slope. The boars are startled again and take off running. But once I'm down there I see it clearly. There's a massive boar in the group. And I mean massive. And this boar has guts. The moment it spots me it turns right around and stands its ground, shielding the sows and piglets behind it. A closer look reveals tusks that are seriously long. Taking this one down is going to cost us, and if things go wrong, it could be fatal. 8 sees it and yells, "That's Big Tusker, Lucky is holding him, release the dogs, now." Both vehicles open up at the same time. A dozen dogs come tumbling out, each fighting to be first, and within moments they form a line, lead dogs up front, hold dogs behind, all tearing down the path between the fields. But I don't wait for them, because I'm not about to let my packmates get hurt. This boar is built like a wall, back arched high, bristles raised, tusks curved up and gleaming, and well over 300 pounds. It is not something to take lightly. I have to burn down its stamina first. I dart around Big Tusker and go straight for the piglets up ahead. The moment Big Tusker sees me going after its young, it charges at me in a fury, crashing through a row of cornstalks like they aren't there. I hit full sprint immediately, and so the chase begins. Me pursuing the piglets up front, Big Tusker thundering after me from behind, but I can't lead it too far out, or the rest of the pack will burn out just getting there. With that in mind I swing around and lead Big Tusker back toward the team. Big Tusker isn't stupid though. Wild animals know to conserve energy, so once it thinks it's driven me off and the piglets are safe, it simply stops. But the moment it stops, I come right back to provoke it. This time 8 reads it perfectly. He's walking the pig, draining its stamina on purpose. This dog is unbelievable. Out here on flat ground I have all the room I need. I keep looping behind it, nipping at its rear, forcing Big Tusker to keep spinning in circles. It doesn't take long before it's had enough and comes after me for real. But boars are smart. After chasing me for a bit, it realizes I'm not going to be caught. And just like that, it gives up and bolts in the other direction. Let it escape? Not happening. I sprint up and sink my teeth into its rear, startling it into whipping around to attack me, at which point I release and take off again. I keep teasing it like this over and over. Big Tusker has raw power, but that massive body burning through high-intensity sprints is burning through its stamina fast. Every back and forth with me is at full throttle, and soon Big Tusker is huffing with its mouth wide open, drool running down its chin. Not that I'm not feeling it, my tongue is out too. Ha, Lucky is unreal. His footwork is absolutely flawless. Big Tusker hasn't landed a single hit. At the same time Dash leads the pack in and arrives on the scene. The lead dogs spot the boar and immediately start calling the others in. Big Tusker panics and a moment later it's in a full desperate sprint. I don't latch on this time though. This boar is too big. We need the hold dogs here first. Hold dogs wear armor vests, they can take the hits, and every lead dog out tonight is seasoned, no reckless charging. They keep their distance and harass it relentlessly. After a chase of several dozen meters, Big Tusker realizes it can't shake them and turns to face the pack. 5 or 6 lead dogs circle it, barking non-stop, driving it absolutely mad, and there's always at least one dog going for its rear, forcing it to keep pivoting and shuffling in a tense circle. The dogs aren't standing still either. Some bark right in its face to hold its attention, some inch closer to intimidate it, and others loop around the back to keep it constantly moving. 8 can't hold back any longer and gets on the mic. Swift scouts are here, surround it, keep it boxed in, don't let it run, because the standoff right before the takedown is the most thrilling moment of the whole hunt. Just then, the 2 fastest hold dogs, Panther and Hothead, are the first to reach the scene. Hothead has an old leg injury though, healed up, but the leg may be a touch shorter or maybe the joint stiffened, because his running form is all over the place. Ice describes it as, left arm throwing a 6, right arm throwing a 7, but he still arrives in second place. Just then, Panther lunges in with a testing bite, but Big Tusker flings its head and sends Panther tumbling, then bolts again. But I blast forward and clamp my jaws onto Big Tusker's hind leg. Big Tusker spins back to attack me, but this time I don't let go. The centrifugal force from Big Tusker's spin lifts all 4 of my paws off the ground and swings me into the air, so when it tries to bite back it can't even find me, but its leg is still screaming, in pain, so it lurches the other way. I hang on behind it, refusing to release, and as long as I hold on, Big Tusker can't reach me. Boars are smart though. When it can't shake me, it suddenly drops its entire weight down, trying to crush me underneath it. I genuinely did not see that coming. No boar has ever pulled that move before, so my head actually gets pinned for a moment. I release immediately, and yank my head out from under its backside. But that move just made me angry. Even furious, I'm not going to walk straight into those tusks. But that brief pause is all the hold dogs needed. Several of them come charging in. Hothead latches onto one ear without a second thought, and I circle past Hothead to go for the snout, while one of Captain Wang's hold dogs clamps onto the other ear. Big Tusker thrashes its head left and right in agony, but with a dog anchored on each side pulling in opposite directions, it has no room to generate force. Those deadly tusks are all but neutralized, and with me locked onto its snout, no matter how big Big Tusker is, all it can do is let out a helpless wail. The next second, a dozen dogs pile on. Latecomers can't even find an opening. On the other side, 8 sees it and loses his mind. No way! Lucky is an absolute legend. Held it by the hind leg solo, then went straight for the snout. Take it down, Ice go in for the bleed. Now. We just took down Big Tusker like it was nothing. Hit that public chat with Lucky is a beast. Let's go! The audience goes wild. The screen floods with Lucky is a beast, and gift effects are pouring in one after another. What a rush. What an absolute rush. Did any dogs get hurt? Ice goes through the dogs one by one, checking every spot of blood. The first one he checks is me. My face is covered in blood, but it's all the boars. Ice goes over me carefully, checking even my teeth, then moves on to the others. 8, we're good, no injuries. Check where the other boars ran. Let's call the dogs back and drive after them. Somebody help haul this thing. The two of us can't move it alone. Chubby Captain Wang comes huffing over. Don't let the wheezing fool you. He actually manages to drag the boar, a little out of breath but getting the job done. Captain Wang heaps praise on me. Lucky is something else. He plays the whole thing tactically, knowing when to push and when to hold. His timing is perfect. Ice beams with pride. Of course. If he hadn't come home with me, he'd have been just fine on his own up in those mountains. Small boar, big boar, all the same to him. Meanwhile, 8 has already mapped the next route. The boar's current position puts it at least 200 meters from the nearest release point, but this time Ice says, 200 meters is fine. We go all at once this time. Lucky can't do all the work every hunt. The vehicles reposition quickly. Both drone operators move out on foot first, and the others release all the dogs together. The dogs explode out of the vehicles like tigers breaking loose. Same group as before, 3 sows leading 6 or 7 piglets. This time I don't rush to the front, but hang back leisurely behind the lead dogs, not because I'm tired, but because these pigs simply aren't worth the effort. Sows are nowhere near as dangerous as boars. Same size, but a boar is ferocious and hits back hard, while a sow panics the moment she sees dogs. Sure enough, with the pack still dozens of meters away, the sows abandon their piglets and bolt. But when the lead dogs reach the piglets, everything falls apart. Several dogs break off to chase the piglets, Dash and Grizzly included. Only me and one of Captain Wang's dogs go after the sow. But I split off from that dog quickly. I'm aiming to take down an extra one on my own. Once I separate, I follow my nose and push to full speed. The sow is sprinting along the edge of a cornfield. In a straight line, she can't outrun me. But she had a head start, so it takes me several hundred meters before I close the gap. I clamp my jaws onto her rear. She lets out a screech of pain, but doesn't dare turn to fight. All she wants is to get away. But I've latched on. Where's she going to go? 100+ pound sow taken down with ease. I look back. Good grief, the chase covered 2 whole kilometers, and there's another dog somehow holding a boar on its own. But it's been barking for ages and no backup has arrived, because every other dog is occupied. Some hold dogs are already chewing on their catch and couldn't care less about the barking. Ice takes in the scene and heads to me first. Good dog! Good dog! After the praise, Ice pulls out a rope and secures the boar quickly. The moment I see it's tied down, I'm already gone, racing off to back up Captain Wang's lead dog. But during the time I spent waiting for Ice, the lone dog and the boar had kept at it, covering several more 100 meters and ending up on the terraced fields above. Even at night, all this running burns energy and builds up heat, so I run with my tongue out to cool down. Too bad that compared to humans who can release heat through their entire skin, a dog's cooling system is pretty limited. Meanwhile, 8 spots me charging off again and launches into commentary. Lucky is unbelievable. He's heading to another fight. This will be his 3rd boar tonight. Once Lucky has a target, there is no escape. Nothing more to say, but Lucky is a beast. Give Lucky a like, everyone. Big thanks to Dong for the carnival gift. You've been so generous tonight, Dong. You really didn't have to. Dong, anything you want, just say the word. But before Dong can respond, my heat signature blazes onto the thermal imaging display, bright and unmistakable, like a bolt of lightning shooting straight toward the scene. But I'm feeling the fatigue now. 3 consecutive fights will do that, including nearly 20 minutes holding a boar solo, followed by a 2 to 3 kilometer sprint. So as I approach the scene, I ease up on the pace, to let my body recover a bit. 8 notices my pace dropping and gets a little worried. Lucky's slowing down. He might be tired. Don't push through it if you can't. But when I reach the scene, I don't attack right away. Instead, I stretch out with a big yawn and lie down on the ground. As long as the boar isn't going anywhere, neither am I. 8 gets worked up again. Lucky's tired. He's taken a break. But a dog that dares to lie down mid-hunt? First time I've ever seen that. He gets on the radio. Ice, Lucky's in position. Get the other dogs over here fast. Ice responds, copy that. By now the boar is exhausted too and just stands there squaring off against the lead dog. The lead dog has been barking for ages with no backup coming, and it's starting to lose heart. But my arrival gives it a second wind. It holds its ground and keeps calling for reinforcements. I rest for a full 20 minutes before I get up and stretch. Lucky's up, what's he going to do? The next second, I dart in from the side and land a bite. Startled, the boar naturally bolts to the other side. I follow at a steady, unhurried pace. But another lead dog gets impatient, and chases the boar down, biting its rear. But this boar has completely lost its nerve. No fight left, just desperate to run. Seeing it stop from the bite, I move in to provoke it again. But this time, I deliberately step in front of the lead dog, to put some space between it and the boar, so the boar runs further, and closer to where the rest of the pack is waiting. 8 sees this and looks like he's just witnessed something supernatural. Did everyone catch that? Lucky is herding the boar back again. Have you ever seen a dog this smart? This boar is about the same size as the one Lucky handled alone earlier. He could take it himself, but he doesn't feel like wasting the energy. How do you beat a dog that thinks like this? Even the audience plays along, with everyone demanding I be enrolled in school. Then Dong completely loses it and sends 10 carnival gifts in a row, 8 begging him to stop the whole time, to no effect. On my end, I hear the rest of the pack closing in, so I stop pushing the boar entirely and let it stand still. Once Dash and Patches arrive, I move in immediately and clamp onto the boar's ear. That's how swift scouts work. The moment someone latches on first, hold dogs or whoever else, they all charge in, so I go in first, and the rest follow right behind me. The boar is completely spent, it has nothing left to fight with. Less than a minute later the hold dogs arrive, and I release my grip and step aside to rest. Takedown, perfect takedown, 3 boars tonight, Lucky you absolute legend. But the dogs out tonight are all elite, a pack of serious hunters. And before Ice even gets there, the dogs have already torn the boar apart. Half an hour later, 8 pipes up again, we've got more, just found 2 more boars out there. Just goes to show how badly the boar population has gotten out of hand. The team huddles up again to plan the approach. The nearest point to the boars is bordered by a patch of dense forest. If I drive the boars into the trees it'll be much harder for the dogs to chase and dodge. And both of these boars are big. After a moment Ice speaks first. We still need to send Lucky in first, let him hold one and go from there. I respond to signal my agreement. 8 adds, Lucky probably doesn't want to go into the forest either, he shouldn't herd the boars back this way. Shortly after I get out of the vehicle alone. The moment I step out, 8 announces to the live stream, watch closely, everyone, Lucky's signature move is coming, the wide flanking intercept. My path is clear. I cut through the dense forest and move along the tree line toward the boars. But when the 2 boars spot me they don't even flinch. They actually hesitate before running, almost like a challenge. 8 shouts into the radio, Ice, release, Lucky is in position. Both vehicles open at once, and the dogs come pouring out in a frenzy. The drone operators follow right behind on foot. I keep pushing the boars along the edge of the terraced fields. But after a short chase, the boar backs up against the terrace wall and stops. I think to myself, I'm waiting for backup. What are you waiting for? The pack arrives before long. But the terrace wall is too high. They can't get up, and frantically search for a way around. Ruckus is with us tonight and he's impatient as ever. Stuck at the bottom of the wall he howls like the world is ending. But Dash with those long legs and light frame clears the wall in one clean jump, and helps me keep the boar pinned. Ice finally arrives. He finds a lower section of the wall, and hauls the dogs up one by one, pushing and pulling. The pack surrounds the boar quickly but everyone stays careful, constantly shifting positions to pressure and unsettle the boar. 8 is already getting ready to celebrate, then everything goes wrong. Lala pushes through the pack, and clamps onto the boar's ear in one clean bite, locked on tight. The boar screams in pain and wrenches its head violently, lifting Lala's front legs clean off the ground. Then the boar surges with everything it has and makes a run for it. The other dogs chase it to the edge of the terrace wall but the drop is too far, none of them dare jump. When Lala hits the ground below she releases her bite immediately, but the moment she gets back to her feet, the boar charges straight at her, drops its head, and hooks upward with its snout. And Lala, completely caught off guard, is launched into the air by the brutal force. The boar has lost all restraint now, it's not running anymore, it locks onto Lala and keeps attacking. 8 watches helplessly, voice cracking. It's attacking the dog, it's going to kill her. The other dogs can't get down there but I can. Right as the boar lines up its second attack on Lala, I leap off the terrace wall, close the distance in a few strides, and sink my teeth hard into the boar's rear. It lets out a shriek, abandons Lala and whips around to come after me. My plan was to spin with the boar, keeping myself out of reach of those tusks. But the boar thrashes so hard that it tears off its own flesh where I'm biting. The pain is so sudden and severe it freezes the boar on the spot. 8 brings the drone down low and switches on the lights. Once he confirms it's Lala, he gets on the radio immediately. Ice, move, Lala is hurt, she's bleeding bad, it's serious. A few of the bolder dogs take the risk and jump down, but without enough hold dogs, none of them dare go in for a latch. Ice arrives, slides down the terrace wall, and comes in with his short blade in hand. He drops the sheath and charges straight at the boar. I stare blankly. What is he doing? Going at a wild boar with just a short knife? But I see that Ice means business, so I rush in and clamp onto one of the boar's ears. Those long tusks are right beneath my throat, and I'm not wearing an armor vest. This is genuinely dangerous. The next second, Ice moves in from behind, mounts the boar, grabs its bristles with one hand, and drives the blade into its side with frightening speed. The boar lets out a terrible scream and tries to throw him off, but Ice holds on tight and shouts, Lucky, release! He gives my head a pat, and jumps off the boar himself. Ice has bled out well over 1,000 boars in his time, so his technique is razor sharp, almost always a single clean thrust straight to the heart, piercing the lungs along the way. Any boar that's had Ice's blade in it never gets far. Sure enough, the moment I release, the boar makes it about 10 meters before it collapses. Ice checks me first, no blood anywhere on me, then runs over to Lala. I go over too. Lala is such a gentle, quiet dog and I'm fond of her. Ice examines her and lets out a long, slow breath. Lala's belly has been cut open, but the intestines are still in. She can make it, she can make it. He pins Lala down gently, pulls out a wound stapler, presses the edges of the wound together and staples it shut as a temporary fix. Lala is so good. She doesn't struggle at all during the whole procedure. Just then, Captain Wang and the others come running over. Everyone pitches in. Lucky is so brave. If he hadn't jumped down to save her, Lala might not have made it. The audience echoes the sentiment. Lucky isn't just smart, he's got heart. And that final latch wasn't just for the takedown, it was to protect the drone operator too. But Ice is focused on Lala's condition, and quickly says goodbye to the live stream. That's it for tonight, brothers. Lala needs to get back and get treated right away. With that, the two of them use their jackets to carry Lala, and lay her carefully on the back seat. I give up my seat for her and rest on the floor instead. That was close. Lala was wearing her armor vest, but it only covers half her body. The belly was completely exposed, and Lala really was unlucky today. The tusk caught her right in the most vulnerable spot. Still, her breathing is steady, so I don't think it's life-threatening. A while later, back at the kennel, everyone rushes to carry Lala in and tend to her wounds. They properly stitch up the wound and give her an anti-inflammatory injection. As long as there's no infection, she'll be fine. I stay beside her the whole time, aching for her. I go and bring her a sausage, but Lala won't touch it. Ice strokes my head and says, "You see this? Lucky is something else. This dog has practically become a spirit." He shows genuine care for Lala, and he can even tell a boar's sex before he latches on. No tusks, he'll latch on freely. Big tusked boar, he normally holds back. So tonight, he only went in because he was afraid I was in danger. I look up at Ice. "Glad you get it, but you're pretty reckless yourself. Charging in to bleed a boar when none of the dogs had it under control yet." After I eat, I settle in beside Lala. If anything changes, I'll go get someone. In the morning, Lala is still the same. Not eating, not drinking, barely moving. So I find a food bowl, then grab a bag of milk and bite it open, and push it over to Lala. To a dog's nose, milk and sausage give off a scent that's almost impossible to resist. But Lala only manages to lift her head and take a couple of sips. She's going to need a long time to recover. Just then, 8 calls out, "Ice, the messages are going crazy. Fans are asking about Lala everywhere. Maybe go live and give them an update." Ice grabs his phone and takes a look. Good grief, hundreds of messages. And clicking through the profiles, almost all women. Since when did he get this kind of attention? Before, a few dozen messages was a lot. "Alright, let me address this." He quickly pulls me over and goes live. "Hey everyone, I'm Bloody Hands from Sincere Crop Protection. I'm the guy you saw yesterday stabbing a boar with what looked like a knife. Since so many fans have been asking about the injured dog, here's your update. No need to worry. The wound has been taken care of, and after a bit more rest she'll be back to her energetic self." The fans in the livestream let out a collective sigh of relief. But the livestream is barely done when Captain Wang's team starts packing up to leave. Ice hurries out to see them off. Captain Wang comes over and pats my head. "Still interested in a girlfriend? I'll have one sent over in a few days." I roll my eyes at him and open my mouth in a bark that says everything. Captain Wang bursts out laughing. After they leave, Ice gets the kennel back in order. That evening at dinner, 8 suddenly tells Ice, "A big brother is coming to the kennel tomorrow." The next day the guest arrives right on cue. He comes straight in with a handshake and a bear hug. 8, a little shy, gives a simple "Dong," but Dong waves him off. "Talk later, let me see Lucky first." "Lucky, I'm here." The chubby guy rushes straight at me, wraps his arms around my head and plants a big kiss. "Lucky, you are just the most lovable thing. I'm your Dong, nice to finally meet you." Since he clearly adores me, I'll give him the honor. I stick out my tongue, flash my best smile and offer a paw. "Good boy, I brought you tons of treats and toys. And a dog bed, a wash basin, a blow dryer, a whole pile of stuff." After spending a good while fussing over me, Dong goes to check on Lala, and only then does he get around to talking to 8 and Ice. 8, "Ice, anything you need me to do?" "Do, you're a guest, we can't put you to work. Are you staying at a hotel or here at the kennel?" "The kennel, obviously. He's here to have fun, but on a long-term basis." 8 says, "Then you're bunking with me." Come evening, Ice starts cooking for the dogs, with Dong pitching in beside him. With Dong here, it's a special occasion. Everyone gets an upgrade tonight. Beef chopped into chunks and simmered together with cornmeal. But when have these dogs ever had beef? They tear into it like they haven't eaten in days, growling and snapping at each other to claim their spots. And Belle even gets into a full-on scuffle with a younger dog, until I step in and shut it down. After the meal, Dong produces a large basin, fills it with warm water, and calls me over for a bath. I think about it. Having someone bathe me sounds pretty good, so I settle myself into the basin without any fuss. Watching me tilt my head back and bask in the attention, Ice can't help but sigh. "Who on earth raised this dog? Spoiled rotten. You wouldn't think anyone would dote on a mixed breed this much." But Dong sees it differently. Why not? Lucky is so smart. Who wouldn't love him? After giving me a bath, Dong heads back out to clean the kennel, and he genuinely doesn't mind the mess. He works hard to earn his place, but 8 still thinks he's just here for the fun of it. So he cooks up a plan to take Dong out on a real hunt, to let him feel what it's actually like to haul boar over mountain ridges, hoping that will make him think twice about staying. But when Dong hears they're heading into the hills, he's absolutely thrilled. "I want to get hands-on with Ice." 8 shakes his head. "The terrain out here is rough, all gullies and drops, and you can't see anything at night. Just follow along on a haul and get a feel for it first." Before long, Ice and 8 turn in for the night, but Dong is too wired to sleep and ends up sitting there with a pile of snacks, feeding me and Lala one after another. Then as evening falls, the moment the pickup rolls in, every single dog in the kennel rises to its feet. Ruckus lets out a long, urgent whine. Just the sight of the pickup is enough. They all know it means going up the mountain to hunt boar, and every one of them is buzzing with excitement. When the team starts fitting trackers and armor vests, the other dogs bounce and spin with excitement, but I turn my head and step back. Ice watches me nervously. "If you don't want the tracker, fine, just don't run off on me. If you disappear on me, I'll be devastated." I know what the tracker is really for. It's not about getting lost and not finding my way home. It's about making sure I don't slip back into the wild and never come back. But if I don't want it on, there's nothing he can do about it. You can't force catch a dog that doesn't want to be caught. When it's time to leave, Dong fights for the wheel. And true to form for someone who does off-road, he drives hard, getting them there a full 30 minutes ahead of schedule. 8 makes a call, and a few villagers come out from the nearby village to share what they know about the boar's general location. One of them grabs 8's hand, Those boars are out of control. They keep coming into the village and raiding livestock feed. If an elder or a child runs into one, it could be deadly. You have to help us. Take them all out. 8 nods firmly. Of course, we'll get as many as we can. With that, he launches the drone, sends it in the right direction, and quickly finds the boars in the forest outside the village. A whole big sounder of them. Dong follows the route 8 points out and drives up close to the forest. But it's a large and dense stretch of trees, so the call is made to send me in first to flush the boars out. As I get out of the truck, Ice gives my head a pat. The canopy's thick in there, stay safe. I move into the forest at a steady pace and quickly pick up the trails the boars use regularly. The undergrowth along these paths is crushed flat where they've been walking. I open up with a roar to spook them, and the boars hear me and begin to move. Unhurried, not particularly worried. Everyone, take a look. Entering the field right now is our team's #1 hunter, Lucky. Because Lucky is such a large hunting dog, moving through dense forest is slow going, but just watch how he handles it. By this point, villagers from nearby have gathered to watch. On the other side of the trees, I keep shifting angles to push the boars, trying to keep them moving in a straight line, so they'll eventually work their way out of the forest. But the bigger the sounder, especially with a large boar in the mix, the bolder they get, and they barely react to my pressure. No real sign of panic. From the live stream, viewers can see me darting back and forth, without really understanding what I'm doing. But anyone who knows hunting dogs, or a serious fan, watches with pure admiration. 30 minutes of work like this, and the boars finally break out of the tree line. But there are several patches of dense forest scattered around, and the boars could easily duck back in at any moment. So Ice shouts the call, "Release the dogs!" The pack surges toward the boars. A few minutes later, Howler is first to burst clear of the trees, and the instant he spots the boars, he opens up. Loud, sharp calls to lock in the position. The hold dogs hear him, get a fix on the direction, and all pour toward him. Then the lead dogs begin arriving one after another. But the boars have already formed up. Big ones at the front, piglets tucked in behind. The lead dogs circle and probe but can't find the right moment to latch on. Dash calls and edges closer, creeping to within 2 meters, when a boar senses the threat and suddenly explodes forward, charging out of formation straight at Dash. But Dash is small and lightning quick. He twists out of the way, and takes off running, drawing the boar out of formation. The instant that boar breaks ranks, Howler and Gale are already closing in. In a flash, 3 or 4 lead dogs have the boar surrounded. They all latch on at once, pinning the boar in a single motion. The boar screams and wails, fighting with everything it has, but lead dogs have limited bite strength, and after a short struggle, the boar tears itself free. That's when I come around to the rear of the sounder, figuring out how to scatter the group. When a boar suddenly breaks away from the pack on its own, I swing wide, cut around and move to intercept. I come in hard from the side, and lock onto the ear in one clean bite. It screams and thrashes, trying to shake me and get its tusks on me, but I press tight against its body, and it can't reach me no matter what it tries. Meanwhile, the first boar has broken loose and rejoined the group. Leaving 4 or 5 lead dogs without a target, they all wheel around and converge on mine. In seconds, 6 or 7 dogs have this boar locked down solid. 8 can barely contain himself. It's down, Ice, get in there and bleed it. Lucky made the latch. Then the big boars from the group charge over, the whole sounder moving in to rescue their packmate. You have to hand it to them. There's real loyalty in that. I release and signal the other dogs, then sweep quickly around to the rear of the sounder. The piglets are at the back, and a boar's instinct to protect its young runs even deeper than loyalty to a packmate. So the moment I move toward the piglets, the big boars wheel around to shield them. As long as the young are in danger, the adults won't risk going to rescue anyone else. With that one move, I hold an entire sounder in place by myself. Ice comes crashing through the forest and arrives on the field, with the whole dogs right behind him. He doesn't waste a second. He draws his short blade and delivers the killing strike. The sounder is less than 5 meters away, watching their packmate go down. Ruckus, that lovable idiot, ignores the sounder entirely and runs straight to the boar that's already been bled out. Meanwhile, Shaker and Hothead arrive at the field and charge the sounder without a moment's hesitation. Already shaken by the sounds of their dying companion, the boars bolt. Shaker manages to latch onto one as it runs, but the boar whips its head and throws him off. The hold dogs give chase, and Ice slaps the lead dogs to urge them to follow. There's no way I'm letting this pass. I'm faster than all the hold dogs combined. In a few strides I'm at full speed, and every 20 meters I overtake another boar. I bite down hard on the hind leg of one. It screams and twists back to snap at me, but I match its rotation, turning with it, keeping myself just out of reach. It can't get to me. Shaker and Hothead arrive seconds later. Hothead's latch is a thing of beauty, full speed, perfectly timed, sinking his teeth into the ear in one clean motion. Shaker's first bite lands on the cheek, a fraction off. He readjusts and catches the ear a moment later. More lead dogs flood in, some latching on, some branching off to chase the fleeing sounder, but the sounder has entered another dense patch of forest, and the dogs that follow in lose their bearings, splitting off in every direction, with 2 hold dogs tangling in the undergrowth. Ice arrives to bleed the second boar. When the prey goes down, the satisfaction hits me hard, especially the moment I make the latch, and the whole pack sweeps in around me. It feels like a general leading soldiers into the charge. And then I think about these boars, the havoc they've caused to the villagers. We need to take down as many as possible, so I follow the others into the forest. This terrain is clearly the boars' home turf, and they're faster than the dogs in the thick cover. Some of them try to play it clever after entering the forest, tucking themselves away in the brush. But you can hide for a moment, not forever. Sly, trailing at the back, runs straight into one of the hiding boars. Sly has no nerve for a solo confrontation. He's still just an apprentice lead dog. He takes one look at the boar and freezes, then bolts. The boar sees him run and turns bold. It chases him. What it doesn't know is that there's a hold dog right behind Sly. The path is narrow, but Sly squeezes past Tank anyway, sending Tank stumbling sideways. Tank barely gets his footing back when the charging boar hits him head on. Tank got his name as a joke. He's actually tiny, smaller than some lead dogs' heads. But the moment he faces a boar, something shifts, and he charges things 3 times his size without flinching. So he doesn't back down. He goes straight at it head on and bites down hard on the throat. The boar's momentum pushes Tank back several steps, and it swings its head wildly, trying to shake him off. Sly stands behind Tank and howls, calling for backup. Ruckus, who had already run off, hears Sly's call and doubles back, cutting the boar off from behind, and, eyeing its thrashing rear end, clamps down hard on the hind leg. The boar, locked in fierce combat with Tank, lets out a sharp scream. That brief hesitation is all Tank needs. He finally locks onto the ear and holds on solid. 8 shouts over the radio, "Ice, Tank made a latch. He took some hits out there. Go check him for injuries." Copy. Ice bleeds the third boar, then parts Tank's fur to check for wounds. 8 asks anxiously, "Ice, is Tank okay?" "He's fine. The armor vest took everything. Just a couple of small scratches on the face from a branch." "Good. You've got another latch on your left." In the dense forest, several lead dogs have pinned down another small boar. Ice pushes through the dark trees, muttering to himself, "Busy night. These dogs are spread all over the place." You have to respect Ice. Out alone in the wild in the middle of the night, chasing boars through the dark. By this point, I'm already back at the pickup. 8 watches the boars retreat into the distance and keys the radio. "Ice, the boars have all pulled back. Call the dogs in, we can't keep pushing." Ice starts calling out and whistles to bring the dogs back. Dogs within earshot come bounding back. Ice signs off to the stream. "Alright, that's a wrap for tonight. Thank you all for watching. See you next time." Dong, 8 and the villagers all pitch in to drag the catch back. The villagers are warm and insistent. 8, thank you so much. Don't head back yet, stay in the village tonight. We'll treat you all to a meal tomorrow. But Ice is already scanning the dogs. Food can wait. Let's find the dogs first. We're one short. Which one? Flurry's missing. She probably chased something too far, and her tracker signal is gone. 8 scrambles to launch the drone. 2 battery packs later, still nothing. I watch them search and make my decision. Ice sees me moving and calls out, "Lucky, where are you going?" I don't answer. Flurry must have gone in with the last wave into the forest and chased a boar straight out the other side, losing the group in the process. I head back into the trees with purpose, going methodically from track to track, sorting out which scent belongs to which dog. Get the drone on Lucky now. Flurry's still missing, don't lose him too. I'm going to follow. Ice is exhausted, but he moves anyway. The drone catches up quickly, and it finds me sweeping back and forth through the tree line, nose working the ground. 8's voice crackles through the drone speaker. "Lucky, come back!" I glance up, keep moving. I work the tree line laterally, and Flurry's trail comes up fast. I follow it out of the forest. 8 watches through the drone feed and keeps the radio. "Ice, I think Lucky is tracking Flurry. He's exited the forest and heading up the mountain." Ice is stunned. "No way, even if he's that smart. Tracking another dog? That's something else." The drone follows me over a ridgeline, and I don't stop. I'm following the trail at a steady trot. 8's voice goes urgent. "We have to go after him." He works it out with the villagers. A local who knows the terrain takes the wheel. 8 rides along working the drone, and they drive after me. He radios Ice to hold back and wait for Dong to bring the pickup. Out in the open now, the tracks are clean and easy to read. 2 scent trails run alongside each other on the ground, one belonging to a boar, one belonging to Flurry. 2 ridgelines later, still no sign of her. She really committed to that chase, running this far on her own. Then I find it, a section where the tracks go chaotic, with crushed corn stalks scattered wide across the ground. Flurry held a boar here, but with no backup coming, it eventually broke away. From the tracks I can tell. Flurry waited here a while, lost her sense of direction and started moving in circles. 8 stares at the drone footage, wide-eyed. "Oh wow, Lucky is incredible. He's tracking Flurry. All that crushed corn, that's where Flurry and the boar had it out." By now I've covered at least 4 or 5 kilometers from the pickup. Then Flurry's scent hits me full force, thick and close. She must have caught mine too. She knows me, and she's running toward me now, following my scent in. A white shape emerges from the dark up ahead. When she sees me, she breaks into a bouncing, joyful sprint straight toward me. 8 radios Ice immediately. "Oh wow, it's her. Lucky found Flurry." Flurry reaches me and goes full puppy, rubbing against me, licking my fur. She probably thought I was lost too. What am I supposed to say? She just chased a little too far. It's not like she meant to run away. I lift my head and bark at the drone a few times. "Come on, 8, get the hint. There's no way I'm running all the way back the same route." 8 catches on and slowly pulls the drone back toward the road, testing it. He wants to see if the 2 of us will follow. The drone moves, I follow. Flurry finally has a familiar face beside her, and she's not letting go. The 2 of us trail the drone over the hills. Another kilometer before we reach the vehicles. Ice grabs my head with both hands. "Lucky, you legend. You knew she was missing and you went out and found her." Then he turns to Flurry with zero sympathy. "You numbskull, if you can't hold a boar, just come back. Don't go chasing into the dark forever." Flurry has no idea what he's saying. She wags her tail enthusiastically. I know how many dogs Ice and 8 have lost over the years, some taken by boars. Nothing to be done about that, but losing a dog to the wild, that really eats at you. You search and find nothing, hear nothing, and all you can do is hold on to the hope that one day, they'll find their own way home. By the time everything is sorted, the sky is turning light. The team follows the villagers into the village. Word has spread fast. The crop protection team came and took down the boars, and people pour out to see. Someone even finds a walled courtyard to settle the dogs in, and a few villagers want to feed them. 8 waves it off, not wanting to impose. Just lets the dogs have some water. I'm the exception. I go straight inside with the people. The villagers eat and talk about me the whole meal. I watched the whole thing last night. That dog is something else. Flushing the boars, making latches, and then going out alone to find the missing one. Now I understand what people mean when they say professional. A trained hunting dog is on a different level. Ice tries to look modest. He mostly fails. I pick up my bowl and carry it around the room. The host spots this and laughs. He waves a generous hand and sends me off with 2 lamb ribs. After a loud, happy meal, the team makes it back to the kennel and collapses. No one even bothers to wash up. People and dogs go down together. They've barely been asleep when a car pulls up outside. Ice gets up and opens the gate. It's another crop protection team from a neighboring area. Their leader walks straight in. "Where's Lucky? I'm here to see Lucky." No choice, I come out to greet the visitor. That's the price of being famous. Over the past few days, neighboring teams have been coming by to see me, almost all of them asking about stud rights. Ice has turned every single one of them down. He knows by now that I have standards. Captain Chian doesn't take the rejection badly. He just grins and makes a different offer. "Bring your dogs and come hunt with us sometime. More dogs, more fun." After seeing him off, I go check on Lala. She's doing better. She wags her tail when she sees me. I bring her some milk and a sausage. Her appetite is a little better than yesterday, but she's still very thin. Ice says dogs always lose weight after an injury, but once they recover it comes back fast. That's when Dong suddenly comes inside. "Ice, come look at Howler and Rumble's pen. Something's not right under their crate." Ice already suspects the worst and moves fast, and I follow. Inside the kennel, there's a visible pool of dark brown urine under the crate. Ice opens the crate and peels back the lip skin on both Howler and Rumble to check the gums. It's Howler, he was fine yesterday. He grabs his phone and makes a video call. The moment it connects, Ice says urgently, "Old Lee, take a look. Is this tick fever?" He points the camera at the urine on the ground, then shows the gum color. Old Lee is a veteran dog handler with years of experience. He delivers his remote diagnosis. "This isn't tick fever, this is blood parasite disease, far more dangerous. From those gums, Howler is anemic. Take his temperature. If he has a fever, that confirms it." Ice grabs the thermometer. A few minutes later, fever confirmed. It's blood parasite disease. Ice asks quickly, "It's not contagious between dogs, right?" "Not directly, it spreads through insect bites, ticks and mites. If the same tick or mite that bit Howler bites another dog, it can spread. Don't try to treat him out there, your area doesn't have the right facilities. Get him to me now." Ice ends the call and gets 8 back immediately. 8 takes one look and says, "Send Rumble too just to be safe." He goes to find crates and arrange transport. Ice goes through every other dog in the kennel, and thankfully no one else shows symptoms, for now. When I hear the disease spreads through insect bites, I quietly back away from Howler's crate. Nothing personal. I just can't afford to get sick. When an animal gets sick, there's no way to explain what hurts or where, which makes it far more dangerous than when a person falls ill. 8 finds a transport service that handles animals, but the earliest departure is tomorrow. Ice calls Old Lee, worried. Old Lee says even express shipping takes 3 days. Howler will be fine for the journey. For now, go pick up 2 medications. Give Howler an injection first, then do a full external parasite treatment on every other dog in the kennel. Is Lucky nearby? Something looks off about him too. Send me a look. Get out of here, you never quit. Lucky is perfectly fine. I know exactly what you're up to. Old Lee then talks 8 and Ice through exactly what to buy. When they get back with the medication, they give Howler his injection and treat every dog for parasites. By the time they finish, it's past midnight. None of them have eaten dinner. The 3 of them sit together in the middle of the night eating instant noodles. I feel sorry for them, so I push some of my own food over. Dong laughs. "Look at this dog. Who could not love him? He can see we're eating badly and gives us his own food." 8 looks at me and nods. "That's right. You can't treat Lucky like a dog. You treat him like a kid." Early the next morning, 8 gives Howler and Rumble some water and a small portion of food, loads them into their crates, seals everything up, and sends them off. When 8 gets back, he's carrying my armor vest. It was custom made a few days ago. High-strength puncture-resistant material, camouflage pattern, fitted to my exact measurements. "Lucky, let's try the armor vest on." 8 and Ice help me into it, and I head inside to check. The mirror. Not bad at all, actually pretty sharp. It was already hard for a boar to get to me, now it's even harder, and latching on will be safer than ever. That evening at feeding time, Ice opens the pens, and the dogs burst out and immediately mob him. A whole bag of chicken carcasses hits the ground, and the scramble is on. Some dogs snatch a piece and, afraid of losing it, retreat back into their crates or beds to eat in peace, including the heavy hitters like Ruckus and Hothead. Nobody usually dares touch their food, but they still don't like being disturbed while eating. When the second bag goes out, some dogs are still eating where they stand, and a full brawl breaks out. Fuzz, Sly, and Goldie are all locked onto the same piece, none of them letting go, until it tears apart. Meanwhile, the whole dogs who grabbed pieces first have already finished and come back for more. Ruckus, for instance, finishes his piece, takes a casual lap around the yard, spots Sly still working on his, and walks over with a snarl. Sly has no spine for this. One huff from Ruckus and he drops the half-eaten piece, and slinks off looking miserable. I never pull rank like that, and this one thinks he can? I jump down from my spot immediately, stride over to Ruckus, and meet his snarl with my own. But Ruckus has a temper too. He drops the piece and squares up to me. Like, I'm going to let that slide. The top dog in this kennel is going to be me. I lunge and close my jaws around Ruckus's neck, but dog skin is loose and I only catch the surface layer. Ruckus refuses to yield. He growls and twists his head, snapping back at me, but with his neck in my grip he can't reach me no matter how many times he tries. I'm worried he might get my front legs, so I let go on my own terms. The moment he's free, Ruckus launches himself at me in a full-body lunge. I sweep my front legs and flip him. Ruckus lands flat on his back, all four paws in the air. I pin his throat in an instant. Ice jumps. Let go! He genuinely fears I might kill Ruckus. I release immediately and step back. Ruckus tucks his tail and retreats. Ice doesn't chase me. What set Lucky and Ruckus off? Ruckus stole Sly's piece. Lucky stepped in. Looks like Lucky wants to be top dog. Wild canines always have a pack leader, someone who leads the hunt, defends against threats, manages the internal hierarchy, and decides who eats first. In the wild, no one eats before the leader gives the signal, no matter how hungry they are. But leadership is won through brutal combat, and that process almost always costs lives. A hunting team can't afford those losses. So through human control, no true pack leader has ever been allowed to emerge here. But I'm different. Ice thinks I can be that leader. First, I'm smart enough to do the job right. Second, the gap between me and the rest of the pack is so wide that I can establish order fast, without anyone dying. With that thought, Ice calls me over. Lucky, come here. I'm not afraid of him. I trot over without hesitation. But not before I pick up Sly's stolen piece and drop it back in front of him. Lucky, if you want to be top dog, fine. Just don't kill anyone. I dip my head. Then I hop out of the yard, grab 2 eggs, and come back to find Ruckus lying in his crate looking sorry for himself. I step inside and set both eggs in front of him. He doesn't think twice about the beating he just took. He swallows both eggs whole like he's afraid I'll take them back. Any other dog with a grudge would need several more rounds before accepting this. 8 is in the middle of planning tonight's route when his phone rings. Yes sir, I'm home. Seriously, I don't know, I get nervous in front of cameras. Understood, we'll be ready. When it counts we won't let you down. Dong, Ice, get in here. That was the call. Reporters from the county are coming. They're doing a story on the hunting teams, not sure which team they'll pick, but everyone needs to be ready. Reporters? Interviewing us? That means we might be on television. I need to buy some decent clothes. I can't go on TV looking like this. Ice, calm down. It's not confirmed yet. Doesn't matter, we prepare, like they're definitely coming. The 3 of them talk it over for a long time. That same evening news comes in, the reporters are arriving tomorrow, and they want a live hunting action shot that night. They're actually coming. I never thought I'd be on television in my life. Don't panic, they edit these things. If you say something wrong, they'll cut it. The real question is whether we can deliver a good hunt when they're watching. We can, absolutely. Before I couldn't be sure. But with Lucky on the team, we'll take something down. Right, Lucky? I decide to mess with him and shake my head. What? Why are you shaking your head? Don't you dare let me down. I grin and let out a bark. Oh, so that's how it is. You're messing with me. Ice lunges over and grabs my scruff, and we roll around play fighting. 8 watches and laughs. The tension in the room drops noticeably. They fall asleep with nerves still buzzing. The next day they wait from morning on, and it's not until the afternoon that word comes. The reporters are on their way. A convoy of 4 vehicles rolls into the valley, and the 3 of them stand at the gate to welcome them. 8. This is reporter Chen from the Agricultural Channel. Reporter Chen, this is 8, captain of the Chengsang Crop Protection Team. Captain 8, great to meet you. Welcome everyone. 8 forces out a stiff smile. So nervous he forgets to introduce Ice, and reporter Chen has to ask himself, just call me Ice, and this is Dong, our driver. Good to meet you both. Ice, can you walk us through how the hunting operation works? We work off tips from villagers. Wherever boars are destroying crops, that's where we go. When we arrive, we use drone thermal imaging to locate the boars. Then we drive in close and release the hunting dogs. Once the dogs have a boar pinned, we move in and deliver the final blow. Captain 8, could you introduce us to the dogs? Ice, show the reporter around. Ice leads reporter Chen into the yard. Reporter Chen has already spotted me, hard to miss with my size, and asks curiously, is that big dog outside not one of the hunting dogs? We'll get to that one last. Save the best for last. That alone tells the reporter this dog is something different. These dogs look impressive. What breeds are they? Dash is a pit bull and greyhound mix. Ironball is a Laika and Malinois mix. They're all mixed breeds? Don't purebreds work better? Not necessarily, we just prefer mixed breeds. Ice, I think it's time to meet that dog. This is Lucky, our #1 fighter. As you can see, he's also the biggest. But his size isn't even the point. Lucky's greatest weapon is his mind. This dog's intelligence is genuinely scary. In the field, he can work as a lead dog or a hold dog. When he spots prey, he can stalk in silently. Anything a pet dog can do, he can do. Anything a hunting dog can do, he does better. Really, Lucky, take a bow. I don't miss a beat. I sit up and bow, running through every command, without hesitation, and finishing with a handstand. Impressive, though plenty of pet dogs know those commands too. Tonight is the real test. Come on, let's head out. Let's go. The pickup pulls up to the gate, and the moment the dogs see it, they erupt. Ruckus lets out something between a howl and a bray. Including me, 19 dogs are loaded up, nearly the entire team. With reporters along tonight, there's no live stream. They park and get into position. And 8 launches the drone. It shoots into the air with a hum. The camera crew can't even track it. Are those the boars? Looks like a dozen or more. Ice, over a dozen boars. Release point at roughly 300 meters. The terrain tonight is ideal. Open, gently rolling hillside. No need for me to go in first and hold the boars this time. Ice picks the angle, and Dong drops the tailgate. In an instant, the dogs pour out, scrambling over each other, and I'm already gone. The open ground is made for running. I'm wearing my custom armor vest tonight too, but it doesn't slow me down one bit. The other dogs hit the ground, spot me and Ice and fall in behind. Ruckus doesn't make that ridiculous sound every time. Tonight he's all business. The drone feed shows it all, the pack stretching into a single line accelerating hard, and I'm out front. No wonder they call Lucky the #1 fighter. A whole dog in full armor vest, and he runs like that. Dash, Ironball and Gale are all fast too, but they haven't spotted the boars yet, so they're not at full speed. I'm already at a full sprint, that's why I'm out front. Pinpoint positioning. In under 2 minutes, we close in on the boars. At under 50 meters, the boars suddenly sense the threat, and bunch together. This sounder doesn't panic and scatter, they form up into a defensive wall. Even as I arrive, they don't run. But facing a charging pack, not one of them is willing to break out and fight. With the armor vest on, my confidence is through the roof, and I have a plan, so I don't slow down at all. I drive straight at a boar on the outer edge, and bite down. But I release immediately, because I know the other boars will charge in to rescue their packmate, and I want them to come at me. Sure enough, a boar from the side explodes toward me, and I'm already slowing, turning and pulling away. That boar breaks formation and charges after me. It chases me less than 10 meters before the rest of the pack arrives. The boar sees the whole pack bearing down and spins to flee. I wheel around instantly, accelerate hard to catch it from behind and bite down on the hind leg. Latch! Lucky is incredible, he baited one out of the formation. I lock onto that hind leg and hold. The boar screams in pain and calls out to the sounder, but the pack is already there. Seeing my latch, they all pile on. In seconds, Gale is first to latch an ear. Pair, first of the hold dogs to arrive, clamps onto the other ear, and the rest surge in, latching wherever they can. The sounder had been considering a rescue, but faced with this many hunting dogs, their nerve breaks and they bolt. Dash, Chief and Blizzard lead the chase after the fleeing sounder. Ice, it's down, get in there and bleed it. They took down a boar in under 3 minutes. These hunting dogs are incredible, I have to see this up close. Ice, pull the dogs off, we can take more tonight. The lead dogs are closing in fast when one boar suddenly spins and charges back at Dash, but stopping breaks it away from the fleeing group, and Chief and Dash double team it together. Flurry, Fuzz and Blizzard are still chasing the sounder. Ice moves fast tonight. Dressed in his new clothes and not wanting boar blood on them, he's brought a spear instead of a blade. One thrust drives the spear into the boar's side, while the other hold dogs hold the first boar down. I've already released and gone after the next one. Less than 100 meters out, I spot the boar that Dash and Chief have pinned. Under 200 pounds, there's no way I'm leaving this one alone. In the next second, I blow straight through the gap between Dash and Chief. Thinking of how Hothead makes that flying ear latch look so good, I decide to copy it. I surge in and lock onto the ear, using the impact of the boar itself to stop my momentum. I'm over 100 pounds moving at full speed. The collision nearly takes it off its feet. My teeth punch clean through the ear. The boar screams and struggles to stand, and Dash flinches back, not daring to latch. But Chief comes in from behind and locks onto the hind leg. Ice, another one down. Lucky made the latch again. This little boar isn't giving up. The moment I steady myself, it swings its head hard. The short tusks hit the armor vest. I feel the impact, nothing more. Then it starts spinning, trying to create distance and break my grip. I spin with it, and Chief keeps wrenching at the hind leg from behind. The other hold dogs arrive, and I release immediately, heading to the next fight. Blizzard is already calling up ahead. She's pinned another one. When the second boar goes down, reporter Chen and the camera crew have caught up, and they capture the full sequence on film. These hunting dogs are incredibly efficient, and Lucky is the key. The boars had formed up tight. That formation is usually hard to crack, but Lucky broke it open in one move. And both takedowns so far, Lucky made the latch both times. No wonder he's the #1 fighter. Lead dog and hold dog in one. Meanwhile, I've reached the third boar, a small one, around 100 pounds. Blizzard and Flurry have it fully under control, so I skip past and keep chasing the fleeing sounder. Further out, the sounder has split apart, small groups scattering in every direction. I take a deep breath, read the scent lines carefully, and cross-reference them with the tracks on the ground. It doesn't take long to lock onto a trail. 3 boars moving together. I follow the tracks and scent line at pace. On an ordinary night, 2 takedowns would be enough to call it done, but with reporters watching tonight, I need to deliver. Behind me, the boar Blizzard and Flurry were holding has already been finished. Ice figures the hunt is winding down. The boars are long gone. But when he calls the dogs back, I'm not among them. Where's Lucky? Lucky went after them again. He's far out. The boars are at least 2 kilometers away. I'll guide him back. 3 takedowns and he's still chasing? Dogs and boars both have strong stamina. A few kilometers is nothing unusual. How do we get to him? No road, we walk. Ice gathers the dogs and sets off after me. I'm running hard through the dark. Over a ridgeline, I finally spot them. 3 boars stopped on a hillside. To avoid spooking them, I circle around to the base of the slope and slow to a quiet approach, cutting around to get ahead of them. I loop wide, slipping past them at a distance of a few dozen meters, and appear silently behind all 3. I know Ice is on his way, so I don't move into the open. I tuck into the grass and rest. The scattered boars are confused, stopped on the slope, not eating, not moving, just watching the darkness around them. About 20 minutes later, Dash and Gale catch the boar scent and break into a charge. Hold dogs have weaker noses, but the moment the lead dogs move, they follow. Ice calls out, "You got the position? Dogs are out." 8, what's Lucky doing? He's left the reporters behind. 8 replies, Lucky is resting right behind the boars. He's so smart. He knew we'd be slow getting there, so he stopped to wait. Dash and the others get close, but the boars spot them and bolt straight into me. This time, I choose to go head on. 8 shouts over the radio, Lucky and the boars are face to face. He's not dodging. He's going straight in for the latch. 3 boars charging head on. I drive straight into them, pick one and go for the latch, locking onto the ear in a single bite that holds solid. The boar swings its head at me repeatedly. Every hit is absorbed by the armor vest. The slope is steep. As the boar thrashes, it loses its footing. We slide down together and I use the momentum to shift below it, letting gravity work in my favor. The boar has to fight uphill to break free. The other two boars hesitate, weighing a rescue, then decide against it and run up the slope. They might not get far. In under a minute, Dash arrives and loops around to bite the rear. The hold dogs arrive moments later and pile on to pin it down. I do the math, 2 or 3 minutes at most. Still catchable. I release and go. The boars have gone over the ridge. I read the scent, check the terrain, and choose not to go straight over the top. I run along the slope and around the ridge, longer in distance but it saves energy. Once around the ridge I push to full speed, but the 2 remaining boars are already in a full panic, running flat out even though no dog is behind them. I make the call, let them go. Another long chase and I could catch them, but Ice would suffer for it, having to cover several more kilometers on foot, and there are always more boars. No need to push further. Tonight's results are already remarkable. 8 is already worried about Ice. Lucky's pushed out again. Do we keep going? The drone rounds the ridge with me and watches me stop. 8's voice fills with admiration. Lucky is so smart. Perfect call. The boars are gone. No reason to keep spending the energy. When I stroll back, the pack is still crowded around the downed boar. Ice hasn't arrived yet. Fuzz is still an apprentice. Thrilled at the catch and with no room left on the boar, he just nips here and there, getting in on the excitement. Ice, bleed it and call it. The rest are gone. Copy. Ice picks his way over the uneven ground, spear in hand, finds an opening and finishes the boar. Lucky. Ice waves me over, breathing hard. Good dog. All of you made us proud tonight. He goes down the line of hold dogs, patting each one to signal release. Reporter Chen and the camera operator have pushed through the hard terrain to keep up, exhausted, but here, Lucky is incredible. I owe you an apology. I underestimated you earlier. Reporter Chen turns to Ice. Lucky was the first to latch on all those boars, right? Not the third one, that one was small. Lucky took one look and passed. He went straight for this big one instead. So that wraps up tonight's hunt? That's right, we're done. How are the dogs? Anyone hurt? Not a scratch. The boars tonight weren't too big and we didn't run into any long-tusked boars. The team hauls the boars out and loads the dogs back in. The crew breaks down the equipment on the other side. By the time everything is packed up and they're driving home, dawn is nearly breaking. The moment they pull in, reporter Chen says, 8, thank you all for your cooperation. That's a wrap on filming. The segment should air within 3 days. I'll let you know when it's scheduled. Thank you as well, 8 says, unusually crisp. You've been up all night. Head home and get some rest. Dinner's on me tonight. We appreciate it, but we'll have to pass. We're heading back this afternoon. The crew, especially the camera operators and assistants, are completely wiped out. They pack up and leave quickly. The moment they're gone, Ice claps his hands and grins. We're going on TV. He grabs his phone and dials immediately. Lee, I've got great news. I'm going to be on TV. Lee sounds half asleep and bewildered. Are you out of your mind? Do you know what time it is? You know what we were doing last night? A reporter came to film us. They spent the whole night following us around. Lee isn't buying it. Is this Ice? Did something get into you? You're talking nonsense. Believe it or don't, just watch when it airs. Ice hangs up with a click. Lee stares at his phone, dumbfounded. He calls back, busy signal. 8 is just as excited, though underneath there's a trace of nerves. Ice's outburst shakes loose the tension and 8 heads to bed with a grin, while the 3 of them are fast asleep. A car pulls up to the kennel in the dead of night. This place rarely gets visitors. Who shows up in the middle of the night? 8, I need your help. I step outside and find a man in his 50s climbing out of the car. 8 is immediately alert. Uncle, what's going on? Tell me. If I can help, I will. It's the village chief from 8's hometown. The Wei family's kid went missing, the chief explains. You've got that drone that picks up heat at night. Can you sweep the area around the village? On it. I'll grab the drone right now. 8 doesn't hesitate. He heads inside to get the equipment. Finding people is something I'm good at. 8 barely has the truck door open before I jump in and slide from the driver's side over to the passenger seat. 8 calls after me. Lucky, we're not going up the mountain. Get out. Then he stops himself. Lucky can track down a lost dog, so a lost child should be no different. 8 grabs a GPS tracking collar and clips it around my neck. All right, you're coming too. 8 follows the chief's car out of the kennel, driving fast. They're in a hurry. In just over half an hour, they reach the village. As soon as they arrive, 8 says, Uncle, let's check the Wei house first. At the family's home, only the grandmother is there, eyes red and swollen from crying. Everyone else is already out searching the mountain. Half the village has turned out to help. The old woman rushes toward them. Little 8, you came to help. Thank you so much. Of course, we're all from the same village. Can you grab something the child was wearing recently? Right away. She doesn't stop to ask why, she just goes. 8 holds out the clothing to me. Lucky, remember this scent? I give a slow nod, committed to memory. Let's find a high point. Better signal up there. Minutes later, the truck leaves the village and finds the nearest hilltop. The 3 of us, 2 men and 1 dog, climb to the peak. 8 launches the drone. The thermal display immediately picks up several heat signatures. Villagers scattered across the mountain searching. I stand at the summit and draw in a long, slow breath. No trace of the child. I read the terrain. I feel the wind direction. Then I move down the slope on my own, crossing the road below and climbing the ridge on the other side. 8! The chief calls out. Your dog, he's gone. It's fine, he's out looking. Really? I've heard police dogs can track people. Yours can too? Honestly, not sure. Worth trying. I move once, find nothing, and begin circling the village in a wide sweep. The wind is strong tonight. Unless I'm downwind of the child, I need to be very close to catch the scent. One full loop of the village, and I widen my search radius. I work like a radar dish. My nose covers a radius of 1 kilometer or 2. If that child is anywhere near this village, I'll find them. Finally, 2 kilometers northwest of the village, the scent hits me. I let out 2 sharp barks, a signal for 8. The GPS collar has a sound detection function. When the tagged dog barks, the base unit alerts the operator. Sure enough, 8 sees the notification on his screen. He's barking! Something's up! He wheels the drone toward my position. I slow to a trot, letting the drone keep up. Did he find the child? The chief asks. Not confirmed yet. Let's get over there. The wind is up tonight and the drone is rocking, burning through battery faster than usual. Even so, 8 keeps it in the air. Finding this kid comes first. I look up and spot the drone's lights. Now I'm certain of the direction. I break into a run. Ahead, a dense thicket in a mountain valley. Running through it, I find a trail, a path worn through the brush by wild boars. I follow it inward. The child is somewhere inside this thicket. The drone is high enough to see a heat signature, and picks up a faint glow below, but 8 can't tell if it's a boar or a person. He drops altitude and closes in fast, then switches on the light to get a closer look. The next second, 8's voice cracks with excitement. Found him! It's the child! We found him! Oh, thank goodness! The chief confirms it in the drone feed, a small figure lying face down in the brush. He gets on the phone immediately. Fortunately, there's a dirt path accessible to vehicles just below that thicket. Both men scramble down the hill and drive over, and word spreads fast. Villagers pour toward the location from all directions. When I reach the child, I find him lying still, breathing steadily. He's asleep. I look closer. Something is wrong. There's a steel wire coiled around his leg. Someone set a snare out here, and it caught a child around 10 years old. The spring wire snare locks tight the moment it closes, near impossible to open by hand. The boy doesn't have that strength. His lower leg is already bruised purple and raw where the wire cut through the skin. He cried himself to exhaustion and fell asleep right there. Lucky there are no wild boars in the area tonight. It could have been far worse. I sit beside him and wait. I don't wake him. I don't want to frighten him. 8 and the chief arrive first. They find me beside the child. The chief calls out. The boy jolts awake, sees the faces above him and bursts into tears. 8 snaps open the snare, then he pats my head. Lucky, you're incredible. You could work as a police dog. For a moment, 8 wonders, is chasing wild boars with us actually a waste of Lucky's talent? Within 10 minutes, a whole crowd arrives in a flurry. A woman takes the child and holds him tight, sobbing, then switches to scolding him between tears. This foolish child, why didn't you listen? The chief knows it's just fear coming out as anger. Save the lecture, his leg is badly bruised. Get him to a hospital first. The mother thanks 8 in a rush, and hurries off with her son. The villagers gather around me talking over each other. The dog found him. One dog did more than all 50 of us combined. A hunting dog that can track people, that's police dog level right there. I stand tall, head up, very proud. Alright, everyone head home, the chief says. He thanks 8 on behalf of the village, and 8 drives us back. They sleep until almost noon. When the 3 of them finally drag themselves up, they start planning where to go tonight. Fan engagement has been running hot lately. They have to do a live stream tonight. No excuses. That evening, the truck is loaded and the dogs are on board. They head out. At the location, they open the live stream first. 8 runs through the drone setup and links the feed to the broadcast. Ice leans toward the camera. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Tonight we are out here on crop protection duty. The drone goes up. 8 goes quiet, scanning for boars. Viewers pile in with questions. Ice answers them here and there. Tonight's search is rough going. Multiple position changes. 3 full battery cycles burn through. Then finally, the first boar. Dense brush, big one, 8 announces. I push my head over to look. Down in the valley thicket, the thermal image shows a massive boar. The heat signature burns exceptionally bright. Ice, get up. We've got one. Ice scrambles up from the back seat. Dong comes over from the other vehicle. That's a big boar, 8 says. 300 pounds at minimum. Sending dogs into dense brush is dangerous. Ice is firm. No release. The dogs can't dodge in there. Someone's getting hurt. Can Lucky drive the boar out? No, Lucky's a big dog, already clumsy in tight brush. He goes in there, he's even more vulnerable. Ice is especially worried about me getting hurt, but I'm completely confident. I turn and scratch at the truck door, let myself out. You just watch. Ice jumps out after me. Lucky, where do you think you're going? I shake out my coat and take off toward the boar's position. Ice spins around, urgent. 8, Lucky went in. Do we release the other dogs or not? 8 doesn't know what to, either. The terrain is terrible for the pack. Releasing them means injuries for sure, but leaving me with no backup is also bad. In the end, 8 chooses to trust me. Have faith in Lucky. He's smart, he's not going to force anything. Ice isn't convinced. He and Dong grab their spears and push into the brush. The thicket is dense, thorns and shrubs everywhere. I approach in a straight line at first, but this boar is full of confidence. He hears me coming and doesn't run. He just lifts his head and stares in my direction, waiting to see what I am. The brambles around him are especially thick. When I'm still 20 to 30 meters away, I stop at a clearing and open my mouth. I start barking at him. 8 relays the update to Ice. Ice, Lucky's brilliant, stopped and started barking while still 20 meters away. Ice can see it on the live stream feed. He relaxes slightly, and I'm already thinking ahead. My escape routes are already mapped. At this range there's zero threat. The big boar doesn't even dignify me with a response. He just stands there. So I stand there too, and I bark, and I keep barking. 8 suddenly understands what I'm doing. Lucky is taunting the boar, like an ancient battle tactic, calling out the enemy from your lines to provoke them into charging first. I keep at it. 20 minutes, straight, without stopping. The livestream viewers watch in awe as I keep going for 20 solid minutes. That dog's throat must be dry by now. The dedication. He's been going for 20 minutes straight. If someone yelled at me for 20 minutes, I'd snap too, and snap the boar does. He loses it, crashing through the thorns and charging straight at me. As he closes in, I get my first clear look at his full size. This is the biggest boar I've ever seen. Not 300 pounds, 400 easily, maybe more. He is not something you take down quickly. Today, we run him down properly. I spin and bolt. I follow the path I already scouted, threading through the brush, pulling the boar toward the edge of the thicket. He chases for about 50 meters, decides he's driven me off, and stops. I don't bounce back right away, not yet. But after I pick my next escape path, I come back around. 10 meters from the boar, I open up again. On the other side of the valley, Ice stands under a big tree with his spear ready to back me up. He's a cautious old hunter. Facing a boar this size, he's already thought about which branches he'll climb if things go wrong. Another 10 minutes of barking, non-stop noise. Who could stand it? The big boar charges again. I turn and run again. This time the boar is truly furious. He doesn't stop at the edge of the brush. He follows me all the way out into the open. But once he's out, the open ground makes him uneasy, and he stops. I come right back at him. I deliberately lead him onto the flat dirt path the villagers use for their fields. Smooth terrain, no ledges for the boar to use as an excuse to turn back. 8 watches from the drone feed and grins. He let it out. Now it's Lucky's show. After 200 to 300 meters, the big boar is huffing, slowing down, and finally stops. Once you're out of the brush, whether you go back in, that's not your call anymore. So I start circling him. But every time I circle, the boar has to turn with me to protect his flank. After just 2 rotations, the boar explodes again. He charges. I lead him into the fields. Soft ground burns energy faster. 8 calls out from the truck. Ice, come back. We'll move positions. Drive around and find Lucky. Gradually, each charge gets shorter. The boar's massive size gives him raw power, but the same bulk kills his endurance. He's panting with his mouth open now. Me? I've barely warmed up. The boar realizes he can't catch me. He turns and tries to leave. Not a chance. Able. Second later, I close in from behind. He feels the threat and wheels back around to face me. I start wide circles again, threatening his rear. He tracks me through 2 rotations, then backs his hindquarters against a terrace wall. Standing still isn't working, but he still hasn't spent enough gas. So I make my move. I'm wearing an armor vest. I can take a tusk hit. I burst in hard from the side, already angled to break away. 8 sees it and shouts, "Lucky, don't latch on." But it's a feint, a bluff. I blow past the boar's face and keep going. The boar thinks he can connect and leaves the wall to chase me. He runs 10 meters, then gives up. After several rounds of this, the boar finally accepts the truth. He has no move against me. He turns and runs, trying to shake me loose, but running burns energy. I settle into an easy pace behind him. The moment he slows, I dart in and taunt again. 3 hours of this. The boar has covered almost 10 kilometers. In the livestream, viewers start calling out, "Release the dogs already! Lucky is absolutely unreal." Ice checks with 8. Do we drop the dogs? Not yet. Let's see how far Lucky can take this. 4 full hours. The boar's spirit breaks completely. He drops to the ground, sides heaving. I'm breathing hard too, but my endurance is in a different class. At this point, I walk over and bite the boar's hindquarters. He doesn't even turn his head to fight back. He just lies there bellowing at the sky. 8 erupts. Lucky did it! The boar is down! Ice, release the dogs, now! Ice runs ahead with his spear. 8 and Dong throw open the truck doors. The moment the tailgate drops, Ruckus starts screaming. Hothead, the kennel's infamous P-champion, hops out and immediately waters the grass. But he can't even finish before bolting toward the action. Still, Dash beats everyone, bounding over ledge after ledge to reach the boar first, then freezes. This pig is enormous. Tassel arrives second and has the same reaction, keeping 5 meters back, barking but not latching. The livestream viewers clock it immediately. This boar's too big. Everyone's scared to latch on. Look at the boar's state. He hasn't moved to defend himself. Lucky ran his insides out. A wave of "Lucky is unreal" floods the chat, and honestly, unreal is right. One dog solo neutralizing a 400-pound boar, running it to the ground without help. Ice and 8 are buzzing. Taking down something this big gives you bragging rights for months. Without me, doing it injury-free would be impossible. You'd sacrifice 2 or 3 good dogs to pull it off. But with me here, we take it down clean. 8's voice goes full broadcast mode. Lucky came through. Lucky just made history. 0 injuries. 400-pound big tusker is down. Shout out to Lee for the carnival gift. Shout out to the big missile gift. Don't worry everyone. Lucky's not just getting a chicken leg. He eats a full nutrition meal every day. Better than me, honestly. By now several lead dogs and support runners have caught up, but none of them latch on either. The first 2 hold dogs to arrive, Tawny and another, also hold back. At this size, even a hold dog needs to think twice. Then Hothead steps forward. He circles the boar once, studying the angles, working out where to latch on. I position myself in front of the boar. He sees the full pack closing in and thrashes weakly, but can't get up. I read the moment and latch onto his snout. Snout is the safest position. The tusks can't reach me there, and at over 100 pounds, I can use my full body weight to pin his head and stop him from breaking free. The second I latch, Hothead follows, clamping onto one ear. Shaker clamps the other. Living up to his name, Shaker immediately begins wrenching the ear side to side. That's the signal. The rest of the pack piles on. A dozen dogs hang from the boar's body. He has only enough energy left to scream. Ice arrives moments later. No hesitation, he opens the vein. "This pig is longer than a person," 8 says. 400 pounds, no question. Ice grabs his phone, already filming and sending clips everywhere. Look at my Lucky. 0 injuries, took down a 400-pound big tusker. Many crop protection teams have taken down 400-pound boars. 8 and Ice have done it before too. But with 0 injuries? Nobody has done that. Nobody could. The boar's bleeding stops. The long struggle is finally over. I release my grip, let my tongue hang out and breathe fast. Hours of chasing and baiting. I ran considerably more than the boar tonight, 10+ kilometers easily. Ice sees the state I'm in and immediately pulls out milk. Good dog. Absolutely incredible, not a scratch on you. After I finish the milk, Dong comes over to admire the boar. Ice hands the phone to Dong, climbs on top of the boar and poses for a photo. Both hands gripping the boar's ears like trophy handles. How are we supposed to drag 400 pounds back to the truck? 8 says, then realizes how absurd it sounds. 3 men hauling 400+ pounds in the dark. It is in fact very difficult. Alright everyone, that's it for tonight. 1 boar this size, that's worth the whole night. See you next time. Stream off. 8 sprints over. His first order of business is also photos. Then all 3 of them strain and drag the carcass to the truck. Dogs get loaded. Everyone drives home. Back at the kennel, Ice feeds the dogs, while 8 and Dong pop the truck open. Pliers, hammer, getting to work pulling the boar's tusks. The big ones come out 15 centimeters long like short daggers. Dogs fed, the 3 of them don't bother sleeping. They just stand around admiring the boar. I don't miss the moment either. I jump up on the carcass, stand tall and pose for photos. All content for the fans. When the photo session finally ends, they haul the carcass back to the truck with great effort. Dong rides along to get it weighed. Ice stays outside, sending photos to every group chat he can find. Watched the stream last night. That boar had nothing to do with you lot. Lucky took it down solo. All you did was the finish strike. Anyone with long arms could do that. Give me Lucky and I'll drop a 400-pounder too. Ice reads every message, thick with sarcasm, and cracks up laughing. 8 and Dong return. Ice can barely contain himself. How much? 436 pounds. Ha, Lucky, you absolute legend. Ice grabs my ears and presses his face right up to mine. They celebrate a while longer. Then exhaustion wins. Everyone passes out. I ran hard last night too. I sleep like a rock. When I wake up it's already 2 or 3 in the afternoon. No going out tonight. Ice tells me to rest. And honestly, something is off. My left front paw stings when I put weight on it. I lift it and check. The pad isn't torn but something is lodged in there. A thorn. I hop on 3 legs over to the fence to find Ice. He's in the enclosure with a hose washing down the ground. He doesn't notice me at first. I bark twice. Ice turns around and sees me hopping. What happened? Lucky's limping. Ice drops the hose and comes straight out. He picks up my paw and examines it carefully. Got a thorn in there? He gets tweezers, pulls it out, then disinfects the spot. Thorns are nothing new. Even Ice gets them regularly. Every day in that dense brush his face is always cut up somewhere. One time he fell off a terrace and was laid up for 2 months. This won't do, Ice mutters. 10+ kilometers and you've already got a thorn in your paw. You need shoes. I trot over and push both front paws into one of Ice's boots. He reads it immediately. You want shoes? You think you can get used to them? I nod. You get used to it if you wear them long enough. You really are something. You get a thorn and you figure out you need shoes. Ice calls to 8. 8, do you know anyone who does custom stitching? Lucky needs shoes. As 8 checks the time, pats my head and says, let's go, right now. By the time the shoes are ready, it's nearly evening. 8 picks up dinner on the way back. Ice is buzzing. 8, I got a message. Our segment airs tomorrow. Already? That fast? After dinner, Ice is glued to his phone. Out of every crop protection team in the country, which one has ever made the actual news? He blasts the announcement across every group. The Hunting Circles chat, the Streaming Fans chat, the General Fan group. Don't forget to watch. This is the first time 8 and I have ever been on TV. Our dogs were incredible that night, especially Lucky. He finished 4 boars. First to latch on 3 of them, and on the last one he chased it 2 kilometers before bringing it down. The fan group detonates. A fan named Chen goes into full caps lock mode. Wait, is this real? Our dogs are on TV? I just started following and this is the news I get? Ice 8 Lucky, you guys are absolutely incredible. Even more unbelievable. The very next day, this fan goes to the local convenience store asking about me, and immediately gets the kennel's address. Just after 10 in the morning, the 3 of them still half asleep. A car pulls up out of nowhere. The car stops. The mixed breeds lead a few of the smaller dogs over to investigate. Misty sits in the car for a moment then rolls down the window. Ice 8, I'm up early, I'm the first one out the door. Misty spots me and waves wildly. It's Lucky, Lucky. I pause. Another visitor? 8 hears the commotion and comes out. Misty recognizes him immediately and waves. 8, I'm one of your fans, I came to see you. 8 blinks. A fan showed up in person? How did you even find this place? Sorry for showing up like this. I sent you a message but you didn't reply so I just tracked you down myself. You're always welcome, don't worry about it. Come on out, none of them bite. Okay, here I come. A fan shows up in person and 8 has absolutely no idea what to say. Fortunately, Ice comes out just in time. Misty smiles. Hey Ice. Turns out we're from the same area. I saw that video you posted, recognized the store and asked around. Sorry for the intrusion. She already knows exactly what both of them are like. Ice waves it off. Intrusion? Everyone's welcome here. Ice, Lucky doesn't bite, does he? Relax. With this bunch, even if I bite someone, they still won't. The words are barely out of his mouth before Misty dashes straight toward me. Lucky, I'm here. She cups my chin with one hand and strokes the top of my head with the other. I let her, very cooperative. She pets me and looks me over carefully. She really loves dogs. Lucky, if I'd known you were this close, I would have come ages ago. I brought you so many snacks. Misty runs back to the car and hauls out a whole box, packed with treats from the pet store. Ice, Lucky can have these, right? Ice doesn't rain on her parade. Go ahead and feed him. If he doesn't like something, he won't eat it. Ice, 8, go do your thing. I'm happy just hanging out with Lucky. We're not busy, stick around. After a while Misty says her goodbyes, and promises to come back to see me again. Once she's gone, the three of them head inside, open their phones, and the recorded news segment begins to play. A female anchor speaks. Our next story. As ecosystems have recovered in recent years, wildlife populations have grown, bringing biodiversity, but also new tensions. Our correspondent has this report. The news coverage is brief, less than a minute in total. 8 and Ice appear on screen for maybe 10 seconds each. But that's more than enough. Both of them are thrilled. I make an appearance too, just a thermal image of a dog running, but the full version on their video account runs over 10 minutes. The moment the broadcast ends, they switch over to that. This version has everything: pre-hunt interviews, the full takedown sequence, and a dedicated close-up introduction of me. Ice watches it all the way through and immediately shares it to every group, rallying everyone to like and comment. Lucky made the news. 4 boars finished, first a latch on 3 of them. Voice messages flying in every direction. I lean in to look at the phone too, scanning the comments. At least half of them are about me. 8 raises his glass. Come on, let's drink to this. The mood is high and the drinks keep coming. All 3 of them, and 1 dog, end up drunk. I'm the first to lose it, can't stay steady in my chair. I climb down, determined to prove I'm fine. But the moment I take a step, my front legs nearly split apart. I wobble all over the place. The 3 of them burst out laughing. The night dissolves into chaos. All 3 of them are completely gone. When morning comes, they look at each other. 8 and Ice both wince. Dong sums it up. No more buying alcohol, this is a waste of everyone's time. Just then the tailor shop calls. The shoes are ready. 8 picks them up immediately. Lucky, come try your shoes on. He puts them on one by one. Shoes on, 8 tells me to run a few laps. I launch off the line and tear down the dirt road out front, kicking up a trail of dust behind me. I come blazing back through the cloud. 8 checks the fit, nothing loose. Lucky, do they work? I nod. With shoes on, no more thorns, no more worn down pads. After yesterday's celebration, it's back to reality. Time to get back to work. A call comes in from a villager. There's a gang of wild boars near the village. They raid the crops during the day, get chased off, and come right back at night to do it again. The villagers tried using their own dogs to drive them off. 1 dog ended up bitten. This gang is bold. They've been going at it with the villagers for days. It took the village official escalating it up the chain before 8's number even got passed along. Ice still has energy to burn. Bold? Let's see if they're bolder than me. Ready to take on the whole gang himself. 8 grins. Then you'd better sharpen your blades first. Ice turns to me. Lucky, how's that paw? Are you good to go? I nod. A little thorn? That's nothing. At dusk, the dogs get their armor vests on and load into the truck. Everyone with a solid track record makes the team tonight. Fortunately, it's not far. Just over an hour's drive. 8 gets the briefing from the local villagers first. These boars have been targeting the best farmland in the village. A villager leads the way in his car. 8 follows him onto the narrow farm track. The drone is barely in the air when it picks up an entire sounder of wild boars, feasting right in the fields. One look at the thermal feed and both Ice and 8 start grinning. None of them are large, none over 200 pounds, and they're out in the open. This is about as easy as it gets. The only thing, there are a lot of them. Rough count, over 30 boars, big and small. They open the live stream. Viewers flood in immediately. Good evening everyone, crop protection tonight. Did you catch the news segment yesterday? Go like and comment, help us grow and share the stream. After a quick chat with the viewers, 8 calls it. Ice, get ready to release. I nudge Ice with my front paw, my shoes. If I put them on too early, my paws get sweaty, so I skip them for the drive. Dong is barely able to contain himself. Ice, the terrain is perfect tonight. Let me do the finish strike, I want to try it. Sure, but can you actually do it? I bet you've never even killed a chicken. What's there to hesitate about? These things are destroying people's crops. Watch me, clean finish, no hesitation. On tough terrain, Dong can't keep up, and Ice worries about him being a liability, but Dong has been wanting to try the finish strike for a while. I get my shoes on and hop out of the truck, but this time I hang back. These boars are small, the terrain is wide open, no challenge here at all. 8 gives the call. Dong, release. Dong throws open the tailgate. The dogs pour out, every one of them jostling to be first. Ice moves forward a few paces, the lead dogs immediately catch the scent. The lead dog pack tears off at full speed. The whole dogs push hard to keep up. The boars don't bolt right away. Seeing the pack coming, they bunch together. The bigger ones up front, the smaller ones sheltered behind. This is the largest sounder I've ever seen. Over 30 boars across all sizes. Fortunately, there's no big tusker in the group. Boars usually only join the sounder during breeding season. That's when a protective boar is at its most dangerous. Go hunting during that window and you're almost guaranteed to face one. But it's not breeding season now. No boars in the sounder, just sows and piglets. Fair game. I'm taking it easy tonight. Because the other dogs need their reps too. If I do everything, nobody else grows. Tonight I'm here to manage the field. I'll step in if things go wrong. The lead dogs arrive. They circle the sounder, barking hard. The whole dogs arrive moments later. But the sounder is packed so tight there's nowhere to get a grip. The lead dogs are smart about it. Tassel barks and slowly closes the gap. As the distance shrinks, a boar feels the pressure, and suddenly breaks from the group and charges. Tassel spins and bolts, but catches a foot on a potato vine, and the charging boar slams straight into Tassel, sending him tumbling. Goldie sees the opening and goes for it. Latching on immediately, Tank moves in to do the same. But the moment Goldie latches, another boar charges out to rescue the first, forcing Goldie to release and scramble back. the boar retreats into the sounder. With over a dozen dogs spread out, they can't all converge at once, so Tassel runs the same play again, pressing in to provoke another boar into breaking formation. It plays out almost identically, except this time Tassel dodges the charge cleanly, then spins back and latches on. Tawny, Chief, Blizzard and the others pile on from the sides, pinning the boar down with ease, but at least 3 or 4 boars charge out together to free the captured one, and they slam straight through the dogs, knocking them aside. 8 sees it and calls out, "Too many boars, it's getting chaotic. Ice, get in there!" A full brawl, over a dozen dogs against 30+ boars. The viewers are glued to the stream, the boars are coordinated, pulling each other out of danger, and for a while the dogs genuinely can't break their formation. Where's Lucky tonight? Why isn't he doing anything? 8 is watching closely. He spots me right away, standing 10 meters from the sounder watching the whole thing unfold. Lucky got a thorn in his paw last time. Just then a whole dog and Yukon force one boar out of the group through sheer strength. Yukon clamps onto the boar's snout and hauls backward with everything he has. Hothead, Trooper, 2 whole dogs, Gale and Fuzz are all there. The sounder sees the armored dogs and hesitates, too risky to charge through. They just watch as Yukon slowly drags their companion away. Trooper clamps onto the boar's ear, pulling alongside Yukon. Together they create 2 to 3 meters of separation. Finally, the full pack converges and locks the boar down, but the sounder still wants to make a rescue attempt. 3 or 4 boars break off and charge toward us. I'm not going to let the whole dogs take a hit. I move in from the side and growl a warning at the charging boars. They see me, and how big I am, and the charge falters. They hesitate. The rest of the dogs see a boar pinned, and converge on the spot. The sounder has no shot at getting this one back. "Finish it, let's go!" Ice arrives on the scene. Ice and Dong reach the fight. Ice sweeps his light across the field. The whole sounder and not one boar is particularly large. If not now, when? Ice yanks off the spear guard, finds his distance and grips the shaft tight with both hands. "Dong, cover my back. Stay sharp." Dong watches Ice bypass the pinned boar and walk straight toward the sounder. "Ice, what are you doing? Tonight I'm going one-on-one with a whole herd." After years of crop protection work, Ice has built up both experience and nerve that most people don't have. More than once he has moved in to strike, before the whole dogs have fully secured the boar, but it's never reckless. It's always a calculated read of the situation. Situation like this, if I don't take down a few myself, my hands are going to itch. "Ice, just be careful, go do the finish strike on the pinned one." Ice scans the field, reads the setup, then grips his spear and moves toward me. 8 figures out Ice's plan immediately. What is Ice doing? Is he going solo against the sounder? The boar is locked onto me, completely unaware that Ice is now less than 2 meters away. Ice drives the spear in hard toward the boar's chest and belly. The sharp tip finds the gap between the ribs and punches through. The boar screams and bolts. Ice doesn't even watch it go. He pulls back and drives into a second boar. Another clean strike through the chest. This one doesn't run. It drops on the spot, legs kicking in the dirt. A lethal hit. 8 roars. Ice is unbelievable, he's going solo. Even I stare wide-eyed. He struck before the whole dogs even had it pinned? This 2-legged creature is terrifying. Sows are naturally less aggressive and quicker to break, watching 2 of their own go down in seconds. The rest of the sounder panics. Some scatter immediately. Others hesitate. Frozen. 1 boar cuts past Ice while fleeing, and Ice drives the spear into its belly without missing a step. The boar screams and stumbles 10 meters before going down. Ice is on a streak. Adrenaline surging, hands shaking. The thrill is almost too much to contain. This is easily the most intense fight of his entire crop protection career. And then, another boar cuts through. Ice drives his spear home, but this boar is incredibly agile. It leaps aside and dodges the blow. The moment it lands though, Ice strikes again, thwack, and the boar drops. Ice is a legend. That's number 4. The livestream chat erupts. Ice is a legend. But we're not done yet. As one boar bolts past me, I sprint after it, and latch onto a hind leg. Ice charges over in long strides, thrusts his spear and another boar goes down. Ice spins around with a huge grin and Dong shouts from the side, "Ice is unstoppable." Ice waves it off, easy, nothing to it. Taking down 4 boars with a spear in hand, yeah, he's earned that swagger. 1 boar is still pinned by a whole dog. "Come on Dong, try bleeding it out." Ice walks Dong through the technique. "Go in at this angle, push the blade in diagonally, get it right and you pierce." The heart and lungs together, 1 thrust, any size boar. Dong doesn't even flinch. He drives the blade in clean, and gives it a little twist. Ice nods approvingly. That's the way. The 2 of them slap the whole dogs and start releasing them. Plenty of boars are still on the run up ahead and the lead dogs are already in pursuit. More takedowns are coming. The lead dogs are already barking up front. Once the whole dogs are released, they charge straight into the next fight. From the drone's view, all that's left are 2 men and a field of still warm boars. No way, Ice just hit legendary status. 4 boars, solo, in under a minute. The dogs scatter with the herd, some still giving chase, some already holding boars at bay, and a few have already latched on. But Ice doesn't rush after them. He pauses and takes in the scene. You have to hand it to him. Ice's aim is deadly precise. None of the boars he speared made it more than 10 meters. The kills are all tightly clustered. 8's voice crackles over the radio. Ice, there's one pinned up ahead, go bleed it out. Copy that. Ice charges forward, pure intensity. I'm not sitting still either. I've already dragged down another boar on my own. The fight spreads out into a full-on brawl. I hold 1 boar. Chief and Fuzz pin another. The hold dogs and Ironball work together to latch a third, and Blizzard is already sprinting far out front. Through the night it's non-stop chaos. Takedown after takedown. 13 boars, big or small the count is what it is. 13 boars of all sizes, a new record for the two of them on crop protection duty. The most takedowns in a single night. I soloed 4, I dragged down 3. The villagers helped drag all 13 boars together, and line them up side by side along the dirt road. Dozens of people come out to see the spectacle, phones clicking away. Too many to haul back on their own. Thankfully a kind-hearted villager brings out a tractor. One day on TV, the next day the greatest moment of his life, Ice can't contain himself, showing off to everyone he meets. He stretches out on his bed humming an off-key tune, while I play with the dogs in the pen. We know each other well enough now that the playful ones dare to roughhouse with me. Sometimes as I walk ahead, Hammer sneaks up behind me and grabs my leg, and Fluffy opens wide and gnaws at my head. Whenever I'm in a good mood, I'll jump out and grab them a treat. Then Captain Wang, who'd visited before, calls 8 and says, "I've got a friend, a content creator, who wants to film a hunting video. I've got somewhere to be, but you've got Lucky over there. Takedowns come easy. Can you help him film an episode? He'll cover the cost." 8 and Ice exchange a glance. "Any friend of yours is a friend of ours. Forget the money. Tell him to come on over. We'll guarantee a takedown." No, payment is payment. Alright, tell him to come. They say influencer. Ice looks him up and wow, a fishing streamer with nearly 10 million followers. Now that's a real heavy hitter. That same evening, the big name influencer arrives. Ice and 8 go out to meet him. "Jiang, great to have you here." "Ice, 8, I watched your videos the whole way here. Incredible stuff. I'm officially a fan. Come on in, let's talk." I'm sitting at the door when Xiang walks in. He spots me, crouches down and says, "You must be Lucky. I heard you're something else. I brought you a gift. I'll get it for you in a bit." I give him a nod. Polite guy. Ice, 8, sorry for the trouble. Ice smiles, "No trouble at all. We have friends over all the time. Captain Wang was just here a few days ago." "Hey Chiang, aren't you a fishing guy?" "Ever since I met Captain Wang, I've been watching hunting videos and I just fell in love with hunting hounds. So how do you want to shoot this, Chiang?" "That can wait. Let's eat first. Let's go." By the time they finish dinner and head back, it's already late. Chiang and his crew find a hotel in town and plan to come back in the morning. Ice shakes his head admiringly. "That's what a top influencer looks like. 2 camera operators, 2 assistants." 8 sighs. "We should really hire a professional cameraman and editor. I'm never satisfied with what I put out. Where would we even find a cameraman? And who'd want to work these crazy hours, hiking ridges and pushing through dense forest?" "Fair point." First thing the next morning, Chiang shows up with his whole crew. Filming begins for real. Ice, 8, our producer put together a shooting plan. "Take a look." Chiang hands over a notebook. "We wouldn't know what to make of it. You call the shots. Just take a look." 8 takes it. "See how the pros do it. The plan is straightforward." Jiang learns from Ice how to be a hunt assistant, loading dogs, leaving the kennel, heading up the mountain, taking down boars, then wrap it up with a summary. "Ice, show me how to be a proper hunt assistant." "Simple enough, just need 2 working hands. How's your stamina?" "I'm good, I'm outdoors all day." So Ice starts teaching Jiang how to bleed out a boar. "The most important thing is picking your spot. Whether the bleed goes clean or not, just make sure you never hit a dog." There was a guy new to this. First time bleeding a boar, he got too excited, misjudged his angle, and stabbed a dog instead. He never came back. I can't even process that. "You stabbed a dog?" Chang immediately says, "I will be very careful." They draw a red dot on the dirt bank beside the yard, press the spear tip against it, then drive it into the earth with full force. Exactly like that. Ice gives a nod. They also film a few clips of Chiang doing push-ups and other conditioning exercises. All of it might make it into only a few seconds of the final cut, but it's a full morning's worth of genuine sweat. Ice laughs, "Come on, Chiang. Sit down and have some tea." 8 sighs. "You can't argue with professionals. I fumble through every video I make." Chiang feels comfortable enough to be straight with them. 8. Your content genuinely has room to grow. You need to bring in a professional cameraman and editor, otherwise you're sitting on incredible material and wasting it. We don't really have any connections in that world. Here's what I'll do. I'll refer a cameraman to follow your shoots, and help find you an editor too. 8 asks, "Conditions out here are rough. Would anyone actually want to come?" "Rough conditions mean you make it worth their while. Pay them well." 8 agrees on the spot. "I owe you one, Chiang. If this actually works out, I can't thank you enough. Lucky puts on a show like nothing else. I can't let that go to waste." Ice and 8 are thrilled. They've been stressing over a backlog of footage, with no idea how to turn it into good content, and now someone walks right through the door ready to help. Luck like that is impossible to stop. After a rest, Chiang finally has time to take a look at the dogs. He tries to feed them, but Ice stops him. "We never feed them before a hunt. They'll gorge themselves, and a full stomach on a mountain run will wreck them." "I didn't know that. I'll wait until we're back." As evening approaches, they start gearing up the dogs. Chiang pitches in to help, but Chiang and his cameraman end up crammed into the back seat. I shoot them a look, mildly annoyed. Chiang pats my head. "Be good now, no biting." "Fine, I'll let it go." He's helping find a cameraman and editor. With real professionals on board, the channel is about to take off. Tonight, we have to deliver a takedown. After an hour-plus drive, they reach the spot. 8 gets out and launches the drone. Chiang steps out and watches the monitor. So here we are near a remote village, where locals say a few wild boars have been regularly raiding the fields, damaging crops and putting people at risk. Tonight, with 8 and Ice from the crop protection team, and our pack of dogs, we're here to take care of these troublemakers. Chiang jogs over to 8's side, and he and the cameraman flank 8 on both sides. Tonight doesn't go smoothly at first. After the drone takes off, and circles the whole village, there's not a single boar in sight. They shift locations, widen the search, still nothing. Starting just after 9 in the evening, They search all the way to midnight. 8 is baffled. Where did the boars go? Chang manages a pained smile. For Chang, this episode is turning into a nightmare shoot. He's too anxious to sleep, staring at the screen alongside 8. Past midnight at 1 in the morning. The drone sweeps over a valley and finally, a few glowing dots appear on the thermal display. Chang bursts out, "Boars! Those are boars! Yes, 3 boars deep in dense forest. Captain Wang said dense forest is dangerous, high risk of injury. It's fine, we've got Lucky, he'll drive them out." 8 makes the call, they're going in. Ice, wake up, they're here. 8 shakes Ice awake. Ice pulls me over. 3 or 4 heads and 1 dog's snout all crowd around the monitor. The dense forest backs right up to a small path. It's a short release distance. Lucky goes in first and drives the boars out if he can. Ice straps on my boots. Chang laughs. Lucky's got an armor vest and boots. Throw in a face mask and he's fully kitted out against those branches. I drop off the vehicle and move into the dense forest at an easy pace, picking through the thinner undergrowth. 100 some meters in, I'm already close to the boars. Chang, Ice, when do we follow? Wait until the main pack is released. Lucky won't latch on until the pack arrives. All 3 boars are good-sized, and huddled together they don't even look afraid of me. They stand their ground face to face, but I'm in no hurry. I circle around them in the dense brush. The boars won't show me their backs, so they just circle too. After only 2 loops, 1 boar loses patience and charges at me in a rage. I spin and run, drawing it along for a few dozen meters. It tries to turn back to its group, so I bite down. It whips around furiously to face me, so I open up and start barking. My bark is the signal for 8 and the rest of the pack. 8 shouts, "He's barking!" Lucky has 1 engaged. Ice, release the dogs. The dogs in the truck hear my bark. The whole dogs take off without hesitation, zeroing in on the sound of my voice. 4 legs beat 2. The dogs blow right past the men. Dash arrives first and holds position with me, watching the boar. Once he starts barking, I go quiet. A moment later, Sparky and Buzz arrive too. The boar is surrounded and panics, breaking into a run, pointless. It doesn't make 20 meters before I stop it cold. The whole dogs arrive fast. Hothead threads between Buzz and Black Lightning at full sprint and latches on without hesitation. His grip is dead on. He locks his jaws around the boar's ear. I see Hothead has it controlled, so I go in and clamp onto the snout. With the 2 of us locked on, the boar can't even shake its head. The rest of the pack piles on, holding it fast. 8 shouts, "It's down! Ice, Chang, go bleed it out!" Chang pushes hard through the dense forest, breaks into the open ground between the trees and the fields, then sprints again. Chang calls out breathlessly, "Ice, I've got the bleed!" They reach the scene. The dogs have the boar completely surrounded. It lets out a string of desperate cries and can't move an inch. Ice hands Chang the short blade, and nudges one of the dogs aside to clear a spot. Ice coaches, "Chang, blade goes here. Angle forward and push hard." Chang nods, but this is his first boar kill, and there's a moment of hesitation. He presses the tip against the hide and drives it in, and the boar screams louder. Ice shouts, "Grab the bristles, push it all the way in. When you pull out, step back, watch for the spray." Chang follows through, drives it home, yanks the blade out fast. He stays clean, but the dogs beside him, Blizzard included, take the full spray. Chang laughs, "So that's what bleeding out looks like?" Ice takes back the blade and wipes it on Blizzard's coat, then sheathes it. Then 8's voice comes over the radio. "Ice, release the dogs, now!" Tassel and Axe have charged into the forest on their own. I hear it and release immediately, racing toward the trees. Ice and Chang slap the dogs loose and release them. With this many dogs closing in, and the screams of their fallen companion, the remaining 2 boars bolt in pure terror. I've barely reached the tree line. When a boar comes blasting out at full speed, I accelerate hard. Dash and Flurry fall in behind me. Dash is a speed demon, but this boar is faster, running flat out from the start. Even at my top speed, I can't close the gap. If it were just me, I'd let it go. No point burning all your energy on one boar when you'll get another shot next time. But Dash and Flurry are right behind me. Dash's speed takes him past me, gradually closing on the boar. But the boar tears through dense forest without slowing down at all. My frustration rises. How is this thing so fast? The chase stretches on. Before long, we're a full kilometer out. While we're off chasing this boar, a fierce battle is unfolding back in the dense forest. Tassel, Peach, and Plank, the first 3 to arrive, have the last boar surrounded. The rest of the pack is still occupied with the first boar. The boar is deep in the brush. Little room to dodge. The 3 dogs are cautious, barking as they close in to pressure it. Unlike the one I'm chasing, this boar has no interest in running. It stands its ground and faces the dogs head on. Tassel barks and moves in, and the boar explodes forward. Tassel twists to dodge, but a small tree catches his legs. The boar closes in, dips its head, and launches Tassel into the air. Tassel goes airborne. He hits the ground, and the boar gores him again. Blood starts pooling beneath him. He's hurt, and the drone is still hovering over Ice's group. No one sees this. Plank, a freshly brought on apprentice, freezes up and does nothing but bark wildly. Peach flanks the boar and moves in. The boar senses the threat, breaks off Tassel and charges at Peach. Peach is ready and sidesteps the charge, and in doing so saves Tassel. Tassel struggles to his feet and moves away, blood dripping with every step. He doesn't go far. He's still barking at the boar. Plank is useless. It's Peach alone holding the boar at bay. Thankfully, more lead dogs are arriving. Black Lightning and Blizzard come in together. 3 dogs surround the boar again. The boar is ferocious. It charges again and again. Blizzard doesn't dodge in time and takes a hit to the hindquarters, but isn't hurt. She tucks her tail and retreats to the side, checks herself. Nothing serious. Then goes straight back in. 8 swings the drone over. That boar is something else. Which dog is down? 8 knows every one of his dogs, even through the blurry thermal image. He can identify them just by their silhouettes. 8 shouts, "Ice, Chang, get over there, Tassel is down." Chiang hears a dog is hurt and his face drops. He grabs the radio. How bad is it? Can't tell. Too dark in there. Blood coming from the underside. Chiang turns and slaps the whole dog's hard. Release, let go, now. Ice says, Chiang, if you can't pull them off, find a small stick and jab the throat. I'll take Hothead and Tank ahead. The boar and the lead dogs have been fighting for a while now. They've pushed deep into the heart of the forest. Tank leads the charge, his smaller frame letting him weave through the brush faster. 8 calls out, Chiang, stop, there are enough dogs over there. Chiang yanks Ruckus free and tries to push him toward the fight, but Ruckus circles back, still trying to latch onto the current boar. Chiang grabs Ruckus by the collar and physically hauls him left. You knucklehead, you love biting boars, there's one right up ahead waiting for you, why won't you go? After physically dragging Ruckus to the tree line, Chiang lets out a breath. This job is no joke. Meanwhile, the fight is on at the other side. Tank arrives and doesn't care about the terrain. He lunges to latch on without a second thought. But just as he goes in, the boar thrashes violently. Tank misses the ear, and the boar bites down on his armor vest instead. The boar clamps on and shakes furiously. Tank is small enough that it looks like the boar is just ragdolling him. 8 watches from the drone. This boar is a beast, it won't run, it just fights. Bruiser arrives second, and goes straight for the boar's backside. The boar drops Tank, spins on the spot, and goes after Bruiser. Tank hits the ground, shakes himself off, and charges straight back. Hothead arrives too, and latches onto the boar's ear from the side. The boar surges forward, dragging Hothead along, and plows between 2 narrow bushes. Hothead refuses to let go. He squeezes through with it, coming out with deep gashes across his face and muzzle. Tank catches up from behind and clamps on hard. Even with 2 whole dogs locked on, the boar keeps fighting, powerful enough to lift Hothead's front legs clean off the ground while dragging Tank behind it. Even 8 has to admit, that is one serious boar. Of tonight's 3 boars, the first was unremarkable. But the other 2 are something else entirely. One is a marathon runner, already 2 kilometers out by now. The other is a pure fighter, it's already wounded Tassel, and is still trying to bolt with 2 whole dogs hanging off it. Black lightning goes in from the other side and latches on. Then the boar swings its head and sends him flying. The boar wrenches free with a violent shake, but Tank holds on, and Hothead manages to latch on again. Black lightning couldn't get a hold, dodged out. Bruiser moves in and locks onto the ear. Now the lead dogs pile on from every angle, biting down across the boar's body until it screams. Ice, Chang, get there and bleed it out! This boar is insane. Hothead had to latch on multiple times before it stuck. The fight kept moving and it's pitch dark out there. 8 calls, Ice, check on Tassel first. He hasn't moved in a while. The boar is secured. Let Chiang handle the bleed. Copy. Hearing he gets to do the bleed, Chiang immediately picks up the pace. He's fully hooked on the adrenaline of the hunt now. He pushes through the dense forest and finally reaches the boar. With 1 bleed already under his belt, Chiang works fast and clean this time. He turns to the camera. We've got the takedown. Number 2. This boar was absolutely ferocious. It put our lead dog Tassel out of the fight. Let's check on the rest of the pack. Chiang checks Hothead and Tank first. Ice, I'm done here. Hothead and one of the black dogs have minor cuts. How's Tassel? Chiang radios in. It's a serious gash, over 10 centimeters long, no organ damage. Understood, I'm on my way to you. Chiang pushes through the brush toward Ice. Ice has wrapped Tassel's wound with his jacket and is carrying him back. Chiang rushes over and takes Tassel from him. The wound is serious and Tassel has lost a good amount of blood, but he's still alert. They carry Tassel to the vehicle. Chiang asks, what do we do, Ice? Do we head back and treat him now? 8 says we can't leave yet. Dash and Lucky are still chasing a boar. Can't spot them on the drone. Check the GPS tracker and they're already several kilometers out. Ice says Tassel will hold. We've got a wound stapler. We can't leave Lucky's group out there. As much as Chiang hurts for Tassel, he follows Ice and 8's call. Ice, let's round up the dogs and drive out there. 8 and Dong head into the forest too. All 3 of them work to round up the pack. The whole dogs are still tearing into the second boar. Half an hour later, the pack is accounted for, except Dash, Flurry and me. At this point, I'm still deep in a long-distance standoff with that boar. This boar is fast and built for open ground. Dash won't give up the chase, so I can't either. And after running this long, giving up isn't something I'm willing to do. Suddenly the boar cuts hard into dense brush and loses Dash. Dash keeps charging in a straight line. It's too dark to see far, everything runs on scent. The boar weaves through the trees and Dash loses the trail. But my nose is sharper. I stay locked onto the boar's escape path. I slow down and let out 2 barks. Dash and Flurry hear me and immediately sprint my way. Ridge after ridge, I've lost count. The longer this chase goes, the angrier I get. Dash loses the trail multiple times. Each time I find it again. Finally, we break out into open flat ground. In the valley, Dash opens up at full speed and gradually closes the gap, pulling up right behind the boar. The boar spins and attacks. Dash dodges, and the boar stands its ground, foaming at the mouth, refusing to move. After this long run, both boar and dogs are spent. Everyone just stops and heaves for breath. 20 full minutes of staring each other down between gasps. The boar decides waiting isn't going to help, and turns to run again. Dash and I go full speed, catch up together, and bite into its hindquarters, stopping it cold. It whips around to fight back, and we're right back to a standoff. Back on Ice's side, the dogs are loaded up, and Ice is driving while 8 flies the drone. Following the GPS tracker's direction, the drone races our way. After holding the standoff for over half an hour, I catch a sound. I look up, and the drone is overhead. Backup is here. This boar has nowhere left to run. 8 spots me on the monitor and shouts, Lucky, Dash, Flurry, they're all there. All 3 of them holding a boar. They've gone nearly 6 or 7 kilometers. This boar can seriously run. Chiang leans in to see the screen, stunned. How is that even possible? They chased that far and didn't give up? Must have been Dash and Flurry pushing the chase. When the truck gets to within 100 meters, 8 shouts, "Ice, release the dogs!" Tassel is in Dong's truck, lying still like a good boy. The rest of the pack bursts out of the truck and charges back into battle. The dogs hit the ground and instantly zero in on the right direction. They weave through the cornfield, and this time Peach is first to arrive. The moment she reaches the boar, she erupts into a full bark. The boar sees the flood of dogs and makes one last desperate run. But how is it going to outrun dogs that still have plenty left in the tank? Every 20 meters, a wall of lead dogs cuts it off and stops it cold. Ruckus, the Plum Brothers, Shaker, Hothead, Twin Kings, Noggin. A whole crew of lead dogs arrives at once, so many that 2 dogs can barely share one ear. The big boar is locked down in the middle of the field. Ice and Chiang come running. Chiang surges forward, grabs the boar's bristles with one hand, and drives the blade in with the other. The boar lets out 2 cries, and goes still. Chiang tosses the blade aside and walks over to me. "Good dogs, every single one of you." He doesn't forget Dash and Flurry either. "You 3 are exhausted. When we get back, I'm buying you all a proper meat meal." In one night, Chiang got a real taste of how demanding crop protection work is, and fell head over heels for these smart, fearless hunting hounds. Just as he's riding the high, Ice says with a grin, "Hold on, Chiang, your crop protection experience isn't complete yet. Let 8 and Dong head back and treat Tassel. Dragging these 3 boars back ourselves." "Chiang, no problem, I'm stronger than I look." Ice ties the boars off with rope, and the 2 of them haul a boar weighing over 200 pounds, the assistant standing by, the cameraman filming from behind. Chiang thinks it's fine at first, then hits 50 meters and starts gasping, and at 100 meters his hands are burning from the rope. Thank goodness it's only 200 meters total. "You useless bunch, get over here and pull, you've filmed enough." Chiang is so furious he threatens to dock his assistant's pay. Back at the road they load up the dogs. Once the dogs are in, they drive back to load the other 2 boars. Ice laughs, "Now I've got something to brag about. A 10 million follower influencer showed up and still had to drag boars just like the rest of us." The 2 of them talk the whole drive back, and arrive home just as dawn breaks. Chiang jumps out of the truck. "How's Tassel? Does he need a vet?" 8 says, "He'll be fine. I've already stapled the wound. Breathing and heartbeat are normal, no internal bleeding. I'll handle the antibiotic shot and he'll recover with rest, as long as he's okay." Chiang nods, lets out a massive yawn, and heads off to sleep. I hop off the truck and check on Tassel. He's lying on a mat, patiently taking his shot. I wander through the pen, and see that Hothead's face is covered in cuts. After I left, they were in for a brutal fight, but there's no way around it. No matter how capable I am, I can only handle 1 boar at a time. I can't protect every dog, and if I hadn't joined the chase, I'd never have felt right leaving Dash and Flurry out there alone. Once Tassel's shot is done, everyone, people and dogs alike, goes to sleep. They sleep straight through to the afternoon. I look over at Ice. He's sitting up in bed, kneading his arms and hands. Muscle soreness after a workout like that, probably from dragging boars the night before. He's in his 40s after all. I get up and stretch a long, satisfying stretch, then grab a stainless steel bowl off the shelf, fish a bag of milk out of the cooler, set it in the bowl, and head off with the bowl in my mouth. Ice laughs from behind. "Lucky you're too loyal. Going to check on Tassel again? Why not just make him your girlfriend?" I turn, give him a look, and walk out without a word. "Just wait, I'll deal with you later." Tassel is recovering in the storage room. I ease the door open without disturbing him, pour out the milk and set beside him, then give him a nudge with my paw. Tassel lifts his head, looks at me, looks at the milk, and puts his head back down. I can tell his breathing is steady. Nothing too serious. He just needs to rest and heal, same as the others have before him. I leave Tassel's room and wander around. Ice is inside the pen, cleaning up. I haven't forgotten. I pick up all 4 of my boots from last night in my mouth, pry open the water tank and drop them all in. There's no running water at the kennel. It runs through a separate pipe from the village and gets stored in a tank. Drop 4 boots in the tank, ruin a whole tank of water, and force a full scrub down. That's my revenge. Ice comes out of the pen, just about to put on some water for tea, and lifts the lid to find 4 boots floating inside. "Lucky, who threw these in? When did you start sabotaging people?" I trot up to the hill behind the kennel, lie down at the top, and watch Ice haul the tank outside to scrub it. He spots me up there. "Don't you dare come back down here." I come right back. "What's he going to do?" I trot down from the hill, and sit in the yard. "I won't hit you, but I can make your life just as difficult." He grabs both my ears and gives them a rough scrub. I fight back, open wide and gnaw on his head, and just like that, the 2 of us are rolling around the yard in a heap. This is what makes Ice different from 8. Ice plays rough with the dogs. 8 loves them just as much, but his version of affection is brushing coats and handing out snacks. Chiang wakes up, freshens up and heads straight over. A car pulls into the yard just as Ice and I are going at it. Chiang gets out laughing. Did the man knock the dog down or did the dog knock the man down? Ice laughs and gets up, dusting himself off. "Just messing around with Lucky. This guy's got way too much energy. Everyone worked hard last night. Today I'm treating the whole crew. You really don't have to. It's nothing. Let me go check on the dogs that got hurt last night first." Chiang goes to Tassel, who barely looks up at the visitor. Chiang runs a hand over him and asks if it hurts. After checking on Tassel, he goes to see Hothead. Ice fills him in. This dog is relentless. Once he bites, he doesn't let go. He's already lost several teeth doing it. His legs have been knocked around by boars so many times he walks with a slight wobble. Chiang strokes Hothead's fur. "What an incredible dog. If you like him, he's yours." Chiang genuinely wants him, but he's not the type to take what someone else values. "Give him to me? What would you do without him? He's one of your best. Besides, I've got nowhere to keep a hunting hound. A hunting hound's life is constant battle against vicious boars, injuries stacking up, lifespan cut short, sometimes killed outright, especially the hold dogs. The oldest dog at the kennel right now is Panther, just over 4 years old, and already a veteran with a mouthful of broken teeth. Many hunting hounds die at 2 or 3 years old, some don't even make it out of the apprentice stage, and almost none of them die of old age. It's harsh, but it's the truth. They're not pretty dogs. They don't know how to charm people, they were born to fight, and that's all. It's not so different from the human world. Some are born into fortune, others are born to carry the load. Same species, completely different lives. Some dogs are pampered pets, never wanting for food or comfort, cradled in their owner's hands. Others are loaded onto the slaughter truck before their time. Others spend their whole lives on a chain by a gate, never knowing more than a few square meters. Hunting hounds may live short lives, but they run free and wild, fully unleashing the hunter within. Which life is better? That's not for anyone to say.